Hello and welcome back to the OK podcast. Today's guest is an Indiana local who created The Scene's Not Dead, a monthly BMX video magazine that in the past year has been able to show just how alive and well the BMX scene is in Indiana and the surrounding states. I also hear that Noah McBride can do a badass fufanu. Noah, how are you, dude?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, thanks so much for that. It's crazy to me to even be on a podcast, to even be doing something that people hear about outside of my little local circle of influence, if that's what you want to call it. So yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks for the kind words and thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I'm super excited to sit down with you, and I've become a huge fan of The Scene's Not Dead and everything that you're doing with that. I think it's really sick that somebody in 2021 is kind of going back to those BMX roots of a video magazine. Those are so sick. That was one of my favorite things with props and even 411 VM video magazine. That was such a great skate magazine and whatnot. It's so sick to see the I don't know, I'm just always such a huge fan of video, so I love to see it.
Yeah, 411 and Snap and props, obviously, I gravitated to those when I was a little younger, so I don't know, it's just always kind of been in the back of my head, and something snapped and I just had to do one. So
absolutely, I love it, dude. So yeah, you're a listener of the show, so you know exactly how this works. We go all the way back to when you first started riding. So tell us about Noah McBride in the early years. Did you start in Indiana? Have you always been in Indiana?
Yep, Indiana, born and raised. So this might be a long-winded answer, but so my earliest memory is getting a bike, and so my grandpa used to drive this red Ford Taurus station wagon, and my earliest memory is him backing it into my gravel driveway and then just ripping this beautiful chrome mongoose department store bike out of the back. And it was just a bike. There wasn't anything special, but I remember that thing like it's still here. Just chrome with red decals and clear grips, and the Hoffman tires where the tread says HB. It had that, but it was little mongooses and little chrome mongoose valve stems. That thing just kind of enveloped my whole being. That's all I gave a shit about was that little 16-inch mongoose. So from that moment on, training wheels came off real soon, and then it was plywood ramps and endos on parking blocks and shit like that. It was just riding, and I was so young at the point, 4 or 5, that I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was just riding bikes, and we lived in a posh neighborhood. Money was good then, and so my parents could just be yeah, go ride your bike, you'll come back fucking eventually, So that early it was just kind of riding bikes, and then my dad raced in the 80s. So he's from Indiana too. He's from a little town in Randolph County called Williamsburg. And he raced at some of the earlier tracks in that part of Indiana. It would have been Winchester and Rose City. And I think there was one here in Muncie too. But so he raced back in the day, and seeing me just kind of obsessed with this chrome mongoose, he took me to what would have been my local at the time in Indianapolis called Crossroads BMX. And this indoor was indoors at the time were just, they're crazy. A lot of them are in old factory buildings. So you walk through what would have been the clock in kind of gate, and then through this almost kind of tunnel thing and into a section of this factory. And there's upstairs bathrooms. They just built the BMX track where an assembly line used to be probably. So it's a really cool environment. And being that young, all of it just kind of really sticks with me. But he took me to the track when I was probably around 5. And I remember going, and so at the time, to save space, a lot of indoors had plywood backs to the berms and plywood sides on the jumps to kind of keep the mounds up. So I remember coming around the first turn and going up this double, and at the edges, everybody rides through the middle, so the middle gets worn down, and at the edges, the doubles would kind of steep up, so it kind of turned into like a spine on one side of this double, and I'm like cranking this little silver mongoose at, like I was taking the racing line for some reason, and I'm cranking this little silver mongoose at like the corner of a jump. I just went up and then fell straight back down and did like the classic knock your wind out of yourself stuff. Just like, and I was fucking done with it, dude. I didn't. Yeah,
Oh my
I didn't want to
God.
go back. I was like, fuck racing, dude. I want to go back to doing stick endos. And so I didn't probably touch a race bike again until like I was around 6 or 7. So I took like a year off and then went back. And for some reason, when we went back, it was like all bets were fucking off. Like that's all I did was race week in, week out. Yeah, like I raced so much when I was that first year, I took high points in my class. I've got that plate up here somewhere. And, but at the time it was still just BMX. Like that was just like the outlet. I had to go ride my bike. And the NBL at the time had a really different like landscape than it does now, like than racing does now. So like when I was going and racing, I didn't think of myself as like a BMX racer. I just was like fucking riding bikes, you know, and it had the same feel that I kind of like strive to be around now. Like the place I try and get to in the scene's not dead or just at a jam in general is kind of how racing felt to me at that point. And maybe in a weird way, that's just like what I've been trying to get back to my whole life. Like just that feeling. I don't know. It's one of a kind. And like, you would even go to the nationals and like sit in the pits and watch props and watch, you know, videos. That's just kind of, I don't know. That was my, I guess that was kind of my genesis in BMX in general. And then, so I spent a lot of time racing. And then the NBL shut down around like 2013, I think. And that would have been the last race I raced was like the 2013 Grands. And when the NBL shut down, I was out, dude. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't care about the UCI. I don't care about USA BMX or the ABA. Like the NBL was where it's at. And that's the last time I touched a race bike. And I really don't care if it's the last time I ever touch a race bike. I just, you know, I was aligned with the NBL that much that I'm a diehard, I guess. But yeah, and then that kind of put me where I'm at today, the NBL shutting down. So like going to like an NBL Grands, I know I've probably said this 2 or 3 times now, but it wasn't really about racing. It was just about like riding bikes. So after the NBL shut down, it was just back to riding bikes. And so I would have started going to like, we had an indoor here in Muncie called Just Ride. Pretty famous string of Indiana indoors. There was a Just Ride in Anderson that burnt down. There might have been 2 Just Rides in Anderson. There was a few of them, and then there was a Just Ride in Muncie, which I literally live like 3 streets away from the building it used to be in, which is kind of cool. And that just kind of became like my home. Just ride as much as possible there, and eventually I grew up and started making videos. So.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome. It's really cool to hear your history just with racing and whatnot. Like I always can kind of tell when somebody was a racer just because of the way that they kind of see the park differently. But I'll be honest, man, I think with the way that you ride, I don't know if I would have known that. Like you go for these big fufanus and whatnot, but I don't see, I guess I don't know everything that you do, but I'm like, whenever I think of racer, I think of somebody like Corey, right? Where like, it's just huge gaps, but I don't know. I think you still definitely see that, but the freestyle side of you is really dominant. It's very clear.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a deep package in my opinion. 'Cause like, so I take my style, like, I don't want to say super seriously, but that's like, so I don't film a lot of clips. Like in the clips I film, I almost film, like I film them for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but yeah, like I don't film a lot of clips. So like the tricks that I'm really hyped on or like that I really want to get done, a lot of times I won't even like post them. So the way I ride in person, It does come through in my Instagram a little bit. Like I do a lot of like little jibby tic tacky stuff, and I do it like a lot of fufanus and ice picks and like sub box tricks. That's probably my favorite thing to ride. But um, I also do like yeah, just a lot of like long and low, just kind of racer style, just crank it
Nice.
stuff and see how high it can go. And so I'd say like 99% of the stuff I do never even gets like seen by a camera. I don't like to film myself a lot. Like I don't like people filming me, and I don't know. I've never really thought about why that is, but I don't ride for the camera a whole lot. It's just not something I think about. Not, I guess, on purpose, but like when I'm at a session, the whole idea for me, like in my mind, like I'm going there to like ride my bike and kind of escape into BMX. Like I'm just kind of enthralled by that whole sense of community, like the scene not being dead. Like I'm going to any session I'm going to, whether it's like a like a Wednesday night 3-man get together at a curb cut or Swamp Fest. Like I'm going there to hang out and talk BMX like we're talking now. And sometimes I feel like a camera showing up can kind of like alter that mindset. So I don't know. I don't film a whole lot of things. So
Yeah, fair enough, man. I get that. I think with that too, maybe it's just one of those things where I know this is my case. I am really weird about like filming things of myself only because I want it to be filmed properly if I'm actually going to put in the effort. And unfortunately, it's just one of those things where in my mind, I have like a specific way that it needs to be filmed. And if it's not done perfectly, it's not even worth doing it because it's just not kind of what I had in mind, right? Like I know I filmed BMX DVDs for years, right? So like for
right.
me, it's one of those things where it's got to be filmed perfectly, and I'm trying to break that. Like I've been filming a new video part this past year. I only have
Hell
like
yeah.
3-4 clips, but still, like I'm stoked on getting them, and I've got to work my way back up to doing some gnarly shit. So, but yeah, it's definitely like I feel like maybe that's something for you too, where you do a lot of filming, so you know what looks good, and you can't really just hand off a camera to someone and they're going to replicate
Yeah.
that perfectly.
Well, like so I get that way when I film clips for other people. Like no matter how good I film the clip, like I always feel bad because like I know I could have filmed it better. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. So like I get that anxiety kind of filming other people's stuff, but like for my clips, I almost make a point sometimes to post like the shittiest ratty clips I can, like shitty filming, shitty quality, like sketchiest one. Like there's clips I've posted where I have like nicer videos of me doing it, but I posted the sketchy one just because I'm a dick. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. Like there's something, because like when I'm just like riding around and chilling, like I don't give a shit if it's clean. So like I don't know. I like that kind of. I like sketchy shit. I
I
really do. I
love
like
it.
riding sketchy ramps. I like my bike is a fucking trash pile, dude. My brakes barely work. It's
Oh my
amazing.
god, dude. That's like
Yeah.
anybody who hops on my bike. Like, bro, your brakes barely fucking work because my brakes are so tight. Like I keep my
Yeah.
lever so tight, and it runs both front and back at the same time.
Right.
So like it's going to be sketchy. I use the Chijo brake tartar on there so it like
Yep.
locks up. So for me it's perfect. I trust those things super well cuz like I'll go into a nose pick on stuff and it doesn't bother me, but
You're
for other
locked.
people it's like super sketchy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, dude. I don't know. I just got used to shitty brakes, and I almost feel like I have more kind of control because it's like if I squeeze them like a normal amount, where like people with good brakes would stop, like I get like a half brake, and I can kind of like dial shit in. But then like to like do a foofanu, I'm like death gripping those motherfuckers,
Oh
and
dude, definitely.
yeah, I'm death gripping them. I got a golden fingers old fixie lever. It's like a legit trigger lever, and so I'm like throwing 2 fingers into that for no reason and just like death gripping it. And
I love
yeah,
those
my brakes are.
those levers, man. I've seen a couple of those. Those are pretty wild.
I've had my gold finger for 10 plus years now, and I tell this story any chance I get. Josh Wombat gave it to me, and it's because I was like a little shitty kid running around Muncie Skate Park, and I had just gotten a new bike, didn't have brakes, and he was like, "Oh, come on, man, I got a brake lever. I'll give it to you. I'm gonna put brakes on your bike. You're gonna get a gyro, and you're gonna be doing double bar spin 180s like Chris Doyle." And I was like, "All right, Josh." And he gave me that brake lever. I put it on. It stayed on my bike till this day. And I also learned bar spins that day because Josh Wombat wanted me to. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that brake lever means something for sure.
Hell yeah. And if my buddy Chris Brown is listening, apparently I need to hang out with Josh Wombat. Like,
Dude,
anybody who knows me knows that I've been wanting to learn bars forever, but I'm such a fucking puss that I won't do it.
Yeah, dude, they're I don't know, bars are one of those tricks you learn and then you just kind of like they don't go away. So I might do too many bar spins, but at least I'm not like Garrett Reynolds style, just like do 7 of them in a second, you know.
Dude, sometimes I see a clip of Garrett where he doesn't do one, and I'm almost surprised and like disappointed. It's weird because it's like it's Garrett, right? There's an ender that he did where I think it's like a 180 bar backwards manual half cab pegs on a rail, and he didn't do anything out of the rail, and I was like, "That's your ender?" But I'm like anybody else, and I would have been mind blown. I'd be like, "Dude, what?" But with him, I'm just like, "That's it."
Have you ever done like you'll watch a Garrett clip one time and you'd be like, think you digested it, you'd be like, all right, that was fucking crazy. And then you go back and watch it like a month later and you're like, there was a bar spin there? What? Where did that come from?
I've definitely done that. Oh, yeah. Man. I have some buddies that a few years ago, they posted this video of them on YouTube, and I'll try and find it and put it in the description, but it's them taking a shot of Jack Daniels every time that Garrett does a bar in his deadline part.
We used to do that. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. We used to do that. And it was not fun.
Yeah,
there's a Scene's Not Dead drinking game you should have played earlier while you were watching them. Every time I say hell yeah, you gotta take a drink, and it gets you pretty lit,
dude.
It gets you pretty lit.
Anybody that's listening, if you're not at work, please do the same, because you're probably going to hear that a lot from us.
Oh yeah, I forgot you do it too.
Oh my God, dude. Hell yeah. All the time. Oh, fuck.
It's like how your math teacher used to say okay a lot.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's like and hell yeah, and then dude, that's rad, stuff like that. I have like 5 different terms that I use all the fucking time.
I didn't know I had a hell yeah problem until I started filming myself. And then I was like, man, I say this a lot. And I probably cut out no shit like 100 hell yeahs per jam. Like it's bad.
Oh, so. Dude, I believe it, man. It's whenever you start to like actually film yourself, you start to realize things so quickly, and like you almost become insecure in a way where nobody else is going to notice that. But like for you will definitely see it.
Yeah. Yeah, people, like, whenever I'm interviewing people, they'll always be like, oh, man, like, I've never done this. I'm going to be real awkward. I'm like, dude, I love that. Like, that's kind of, like, I love that. And it never really goes away. Like, I've been behind the camera for, I think it's over a year now, once a month. And, yeah, still just feel like a moron every time I do it. But if you find people that are like comfortable, then it's not as funny. Like some of that awkward rattiness is what makes the gold happen. So
definitely. Yeah, it's I'm kind of the same way, man. I'm almost at 100 episodes of the Goat Cave where half of them were streamed live, and I am still like nervous before I do a podcast with like pretty much everybody, which is funny, right? Like it shouldn't be that way, but I'm still nervous. I still don't want to sound like an idiot. And now I go and I record them all and then edit them and then post them. So it's even worse. Like I see everything. So I don't mind it though. I definitely feel
the live.
Pardon?
Go ahead. No, the live podcast, that's gotta be, that sounds fun to me. Like I feel like there's got to be some pretty good banter when you're in person. You could just drink beers with the boys and kind of talk BMX. Like it's got to be so like organic.
Definitely, yeah. When I first started this, I would do them like live through YouTube with people here, and then people could like chat with us as well. And dude, it was a lot of fun. And you know, there might be coming back soon, guys. There might be 2 new co-hosts coming in just for these specific episodes in the future. But yeah,
Uh-oh.
you never know.
Uh-oh. Stoked, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. But yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel more comfortable on camera a little bit more, but like still, you know. And I feel like that's probably the same for you. I know that the first episode of The Scene's Not Dead, it is very clear just how uncomfortable you are and like low energy. And then, you know, from
Yep.
there, dude, by the second episode, I could see it like perfectly. You know, I could see you just sitting at your desk watching all the footage from the first one, being like,
Hmm.
oh, I gotta fucking get better at this.
Well, that was almost like the amount of that first episode probably has some of my first banner because like I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Right.
And like it was just so kind of like off the cuff, like I'm gonna figure this out. And I don't know, like I watched it and I was like, dude, this is everything I thought it would be, if not more. Like and that's kind of a statement about the whole thing too, is like I don't think I ever went into it imagining that, like I think one of them's got like 700 views, which blows my damn mind. Like I just kind of went into it making these, because before they weren't video magazines. They were just The Scene's Not Dead, and I would go film like whatever jam that happened. And when I started doing them, I didn't think anybody really outside of kind of my locale would watch them. And yeah, I got lost in thought there, but it's just kind of crazy to me that it's even blown up to 700 people, because it was, I don't want to say it was an in joke, but it was definitely kind of like a piece made to just be enjoyed by the people around me, kind of like adjacent to like our little local scene. Because there's videos like that from my childhood where people that were rippers then made these videos that are, most of them are on Vimeo because that's that kind of time period. And like we'll be having a sick one with the boys getting drunk at the house, and it's like, oh yeah, pull up the That Was Easy video, or the Evil Gets Pissed video, and you just watch that. And so I kind of figured it would fall into one of those categories where, like, however many years from now, somebody that was local would be like, oh yeah, remember when this happened? And it's gone past that point now, to the point where I felt like maybe it could be something more than just that.
Absolutely, man. I see these and I can see this becoming like a really big thing, especially with just the past 3 episodes. They've been really, really good. And I love the transition that you made to a monthly video magazine, from just basically doing, I would assume you were uploading almost monthly beforehand anyways, but
Mm-hmm.
you're taking it a little bit more seriously now, and I can definitely see that. And I love it, man. I think you're doing great.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was monthly before, but almost, I mean, not coincidentally, but like there was just, there was a handful of jams each month, and I would go film at like one of them, and the other one I would ride. And then something just kind of took a turn in our local scene towards the end of this year, and there was one month where it was like, dude, I'm like missing a jam this weekend to go to another jam. Like I don't have enough weekends in the month to hit everything I want to hit. So I think that was kind of like the eye opener. It's like, dude, why not just like film all of them? Might as well. So,
Dude, love it. That's you're doing awesome. Like, it's definitely got to be difficult to miss a certain jam to go to another one, and it probably bums the people out, but like at the same time, it's you'll get there eventually. If they do another one,
right.
I'm sure you'll be there.
Yeah. I try to go to everything I can. And anytime I meet somebody, I tell them like, dude, text me if they're, I mean, I don't care if it's your weekend session or what, just like, let me know what's going on. If you got a jam, send me the flyer. Like, you know, more likely than not, I'll be there if I don't already have something else going on. I'm stoked on that. Like, I'd rather get 5 messages about the same jam than not get any messages and miss it,
Dude,
So,
absolutely.
um, so yeah, and I'm not to the point quite yet where like we have a Scene's Not Dead crew and I can have 2 jams filmed on one weekend, but eventually that might happen. It's all a slow burn, and it's going somewhere. I might not exactly know where yet, but something's happening. I can feel that, and it's going somewhere. So
I love it, dude. That's wicked. I love the positive attitude too, right? Like this is it's something that is such a great idea, and I think that you're the perfect person for it. But why don't we talk about how the Scene's Not Dead even started? Because I think that has got to be such a cool story in itself. What kind of led you to wanting to do this in the first place?
yeah, so past Goat Cave appearance, or I don't even know what you would call it. Past Goat Cave character Tim Hankins, right, throws a jam every year in St. Louis called the Capital Lou Jam, and I'm pretty sure it would have been 2020. That whole COVID thing got weird. I think it was 2020. He texted me. Well, he put out a post on Facebook, and he was like, "Hey, I need somebody to film this jam for me. Somebody come film this jam." And my buddy Jake Ryan saw that. Jib Man's Jake Ryan saw that, and he just like messaged it to me. And I was like, sounds cool. So I hit up Tim, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'll come out and film or whatever. And at this point, like, I wasn't really filming anything. Like, I would film clips riding around with the buddies, and we had talked about like putting together, you know, a little project, but nothing really ever happened. So I was just like, yeah, I can film. I have a camera. Like, I'll come out and film, whatever. So I left my house at would have been like 8 o'clock at night to drive 4 hours to go to St. Louis. And like, I'm an hour away from my house, just getting onto 465 in Indy. Tim texted me again, and he was like, hey, I need you to pick up a buddy of mine in Indianapolis. I was like, okay. Yeah, I'm down to pick up a stranger. Might as well. So I stopped at just like some random Walmart parking lot, picked up a guy who I didn't know whatsoever at the time, had never met. He's a good friend of mine now. It's Jacob Cheesy Feet Cooper.
Love
And
it.
yeah, dude, we just drove to St. Louis, and like that first car ride, like just talked like you and me are talking now. Like we just talked about BMX and Tim and everything going on. Talked a lot about props probably because that's all I ever talked about. And we showed up to St. Louis at like 1 o'clock in the morning, dude. Didn't know whose house we were going to, where we were sleeping, like what the hell was going on. Didn't even really know what jam I was going to. And we show up to what I believe was Kayak's grandma's house, possibly. And like I slept in the car. We hung out, drank some beer. Like they gave us a place to sleep, basically. And then we woke up the next morning, and like the vibe was right. Like we got to the jam. Like the jam happens at this like rickety ass bar, like on just this wild side of St. Louis. And like when we showed up, I was like, dude, this can't just get a jam video, you know, like a jam video where you just see all the tricks and you see all the competition winners doesn't do this justice. So like at that moment, like when I showed up, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to make or what it's going to look like or what it's going to be called, but like I'm going to take videos of everything that I see and I'm going to make something. And so then I started like pointing my camera at people and just kind of doing whatever, just like doing what felt right. And then after that jam, like I got home and just started putting clips together. And I called that one This Is BMX, which is a name that I want to bring back and use at some point. But I was just kind of going with the flow. It just, it just came together naturally. And then from there, like after I did that one, it didn't really take off at all. I think it probably sat at like 100 views for a long time, but now I think it might be one of the most viewed videos on the channel, which sucks because I don't think it's the best one at all. But after that was done and out, like it felt right enough to me that I was like, I need to do something. And then every video after that basically was just kind of me like tweaking the formula or just kind of like doing whatever felt right. Like there was never really any kind of idea to start this or to be where I'm at now. Like it's always just kind of been like film something, and so So yeah, that's where the Scene's Not Dead came from. Tim Hankins, the godfather of the Scene's Not Dead for sure.
Dude, that is super sick. Tim is honestly such a rad dude, and I absolutely love everything that he's doing right now with the the Damn Jam tour. I think that, dude, at first when I heard about that, I was kind of cynical in a way, being like, this is not going to last. How the fuck are you going to afford to drive all over the states, put on jams, give away shit all the time? Like, it doesn't even, it sounds like the greatest thing ever. And that's the problem where, like, to me, I'm just like, I don't know how that's going to work, man. But sitting down and talking with him, I started to realize very quickly that, like, it's fully possible and he's making it happen. And I think people need to definitely support Tim quite a bit in what he's doing. If you guys need anything and you don't want to pay full price, hit up his shop. You know, Tim's pre-owned BMX. Buy a shirt from him. Buy a awesome wooden rolling tray, which I absolutely loved. He's
looks like a VX.
Yeah, I love that. He's definitely, you know, such a great local small dude in BMX that needs to blow up a little bit. People definitely love what Tim is doing, so, you know, good on him.
Yeah, dude, I love Tim. Tim's a homie. We hung out a bunch at Swamp Fest. We hung out a bunch at Cornhucket. Like, anywhere I go and see Tim, you know, it's just better because he's there. And you know, he's just one of those friends, dude. It's just like, anytime you go somewhere and you see Tim, you know it's gonna be a good time. So I'm stoked on that, stoked on Tim, stoked on him inviting me to that. And well, like, happen chance, like me going to Capital Lou Jam and like ending up where I'm at now. Yeah, stoked on Tim, dude.
Definitely. And you know, sending him some healing vibes at the moment. I know that he took a pretty hard crash yesterday, so
cracked his head open basically.
Apparently, oh my god, there was a ton of blood. So it's like, holy shit. Yeah.
I don't know for sure,
dude. I don't know what kind of X-Up ride variation he was doing, but it seems like that was probably the craziest one yet.
Dude, I swear every time I see Tim, he's hurt. I swear.
Man, it's always his wrist. It's always his face now. Like, god damn, dude. Oh man. Sure. So when you got the original idea to do, you know, the Scene's Not Dead, how far off have the episodes been lately? Are you kind of at where you originally wanted it to be? Are you further along? What do you think?
Well, I don't think there ever really was like an idea. Yeah, I think if you had told me when I did, especially when I did Tim's video, if you had told me that I would end up doing this, I'd have been like, yeah, dude, bullshit. I'll get tired of it in like a month and I'll be like, yeah, I'll be playing piano or something crazy. And then after the first one, yeah, I still like it's definitely evolved. Just the idea of what I want to do has evolved every video, and even like throughout the process of making the videos, everything's kind of up and down, just kind of like it's fluid, you know? And yeah, it's like the original vision, like I had mentioned, was just kind of all I had in mind. Like I just knew like I was going to make videos, and thankfully because of YouTube, like they'll always be around. But I think now, like one of the main things I always wanted to pay attention to is I didn't ever want to feel like I was starting a YouTube channel. Like that might have been the one goal that I knew I had and have kept. Like I never wanted to have it feel too vloggy. Not because I have anything like wrong with that kind of content. Like I watch that content. Brant's he's a homie. I love Brant, and I love what he's doing. And even the other guys, like Forsman and obviously Kramer, like those guys have their spot inside of like BMX media. And my idea with not like trying to be another BMX YouTuber is like that nobody really needs me to be another BMX YouTuber, you know, like they're doing their thing and they're already doing it. Like I don't need to try and worm my way into that market, so to speak. Like they're doing it probably better than I could anyways. Like why would I try and like bite off another piece of that pie? So even though the videos go up on YouTube, like I never really wanted them to feel like a YouTube video. And yeah, I've been thinking a lot about how to maybe get them off of YouTube. Like I don't know that there's a space they could exist in yet, but that's a problem that I think of a lot, and I'm kind of, brainstorming, maybe keeping a little close to my chest on that one. But yeah, that's the only thing that's really stuck from the beginning to now, because everything else has changed, and all the dials got turned. But that sort of idea that I never wanted to like do the YouTube stuff has stayed. So.
Dude, if I could give you any suggestions, I definitely say build a website. I know that it's so overrated and that there's so many websites out there, but honestly,
You need one.
my website is where I feel that my content is home, right? Like
Right.
there is pretty much everything that I've ever made on there. There's only a few things that are not on there at the moment, and they will be. But like if you have a website where everything is dedicated to that, where you have photos of everything, which is such a big one. Like when we did our Montreal trip, I had a good buddy of mine, Chris, take 1,500 photos, and we took the best 200 and we put it underneath the video on the website, so you could literally just go and look at everything. And it's really good for write-ups and whatnot. You just build it as a blog website with videos. I definitely think that is like such a great idea to keep your content in a place that's like home, right? Like the other thing too, and I know that this is something that you have to deal with, is copyright from YouTube. And that's got to be one of the most difficult things in the world, man. Like recently I had to take Space Goats, my BMX DVD, off YouTube.
What song got it? What song got Space
like
Goats?
5 of them. They were all from
really?
UMG, so like Universal Music Group, right?
Yep.
They decided to change everything, so it ended up being privated, and I had no idea for a good month or so until someone reached out and said they couldn't find it online. So it's on, it's on my website now, including the booklet that would have came with the DVD. But like, it's annoying, and YouTube is so unpredictable in that way. And I think the other thing too is that if you have your own website and your own space, you make the rules. Nobody else really does, right? Whereas YouTube, they can change something and all of your videos and your channel can be taken down in a day. And like, that's the thing that's so difficult, right? And I think a lot of people are pretty good with it. Like Brant, his content is super good for YouTube because a lot of it doesn't use as much copyright, and he's built everything around that. But I also think that it would be really cool to see what Brant could do outside of YouTube in his own space, right? It's got to be the most like, I don't know, as a creator, I definitely think having your own website is the best spot to kind of build, an image, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would, and I've been like, that's been on the list for a long time, just to have like the scenesnotdead.com, even just for like the simple idea of like trying to sell a t-shirt. Like, like I've had t-shirts for a while, but I'm shit lucking it. I'm just like pushing at kids at the jams, like, hey, buy a t-shirt, punk. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to have a t-shirt, and it's on the to-do list, but I got a big to-do list, and I'm a lazy person.
Yeah, so, dude, makes sense.
I need it for sure. Too busy riding bikes and doing shitty fufanus.
Man, to be honest too, there's only so much you can do in a day, right? Like you still work full time, and that's the thing. I'm like, people keep asking why I haven't been able to podcast as much. I'm working full time now. So for the last 2 years before this, I was not, and I was able to do this full time and just push podcasts constantly, right? But it's come to a point where I'm working full time again, and podcasting is going to be a little bit more difficult, even though I love it and I would love to do this all the time. But
yeah. But we can't all get lucky like Brant and pay the bills, right? No, I'm just kidding. Brant worked to get where he's at, paying the bills with that stuff. And that's, that's not the direction I want to go. Like if I wanted YouTube to pay the bills, then like I would follow in his footsteps, right? He did all the right things, and he has put himself in a place where, and he still does stuff outside of YouTube, but it's, as far as I know, starting to, pay out finally. And, it's like you're saying, like the rest of us peons just have to have full-time jobs, and it's hard to find a balance, definitely. But like, luckily for me, my dad and I are trim carpenters. We work together, and we own our own little business. And little business. That was pretty condescending. But so we set a lot of cabinets, run a lot of trim, and that is it's a stressful ass job, dude. Sucks. I mean, I love it. Love working with my dad, and I love what I do, but it's a stressful ass job. And then like having to, go fucking wrestle a cabinet all day and then come home and like work on videos, or like work all week and then like, dude, the moment I can leave on Friday, just like drive to a jam. Definitely a lot of energy, but like I'm young and it's energy that I have, thankfully, and I love it. I wouldn't have any other way. But yeah, it's definitely like trying to balance the full-time job and whatever your creative passion is a motherfucker, dude.
Oh man,
For
it's
sure.
difficult. Yeah, it's really hard. And the thing with Brant too is I know that he still works quite a bit. I don't know if it's exactly full time, but I know that he works quite a bit,
Hmm.
and the amount of hours that he puts in on YouTube, man, I have
Dude.
no idea how he does it. I don't know how he does not get burned out. I asked him, and he basically just told me that he loves BMX so much that he'll never get burnt out of it and doing
Yeah.
videos. But it's like, to me, I love BMX so much, man. This is the one thing in my life that I like, have loved for pretty much half my life, and that I constantly am thinking about. But even at
Yeah.
that point, I'm like, sometimes I need a break, man. Like, I don't know how he does it. He's so good with constantly uploading. And I think that Brant definitely is super underrated. And if you're not subscribed to Brant and you're not watching his stuff, go and check him out, man, because he's releasing videos every single day. They're not just riding videos. He does a lot of BMX news. He talks about products. He does so much. And I don't know. I think that there's nobody out there that's putting in as much work as Brant.
Yeah, Brant's the homie, dude. He's a magical person. And like my favorite thing about Brant, like I've kind of made little points around this, I think a couple times. Like, so I don't really enjoy filming at sessions. Did I talk about that yet?
Yeah,
Did I say
you kind
anything
of
about that?
said
Okay.
that
Yeah.
filming at sessions is a little
It changes it's not necessarily a bad thing, but like it changes like the fucking chemical makeup of the session, and like you can just see things change like when the camera comes out. And like the first time I like had rode with Brant, I kind of had like a predisposition in my head. I was like, I wonder how it's gonna be, like if he's gonna be like YouTubing in the background and it's gonna be weird. And then like I went and rode with him, and then I got home, like that's like a 3 hour drive. So like the next day I get home, and then like a week later the video comes out. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even know that he was filming any of that. Like he's so good at doing both. And like as far as being part of the session, like living like in the BMX moment, but also like capturing it for YouTube and making it fit within the YouTube verse, that like it blows my mind that it's even possible. Like you would never know. You would never know, and it definitely doesn't change the chemical makeup of the session. Like going to have a session with Brant is like having a session with anybody else, and that to me is like a beautiful thing, because like that's something I think about a lot when I'm filming for the Scenes Not Dead. Like at a jam, like I try to stay in the background as much as possible, because I don't want to influence, like I don't want to say the outcome of the jam, but I don't like impacting sessions with the camera, especially when I film stuff that's not a jam. Because like with a jam, you expect cameras to be out, but like when I go film just a session, like I try to be as low key as possible. And it definitely have come out of my shell a little bit more now, but like before, like asking people to do interviews, like just felt really bad. Like I did, not necessarily that I was like impeding on them or like, hey man, come talk into my camera, but like I just didn't want to ruin, I don't want to say ruin, but I didn't want to like change that what you got experience, or like that not event, they're not events, but just like the kind of the atmosphere. There you go, the atmosphere. I don't want to change like what you set up. Like you go meet these people and you ride and you talk and you kind of have your like little BMX atmosphere, and then I feel like me being like, hey, come talking to this camera changes it. But anyways, to wrap all that back together, I don't ever get that with Brant, and that is fucking insane to me that that's even possible. So
Definitely, man. Yeah, Brant seems like YouTube is like so ingrained in what he does that it doesn't really like change anything about him. You know, like
mhm.
it's just kind of, I don't know. It's weird. You can kind of tell with certain people when they're vlogging or they're just, they're doing that thing. And I'm bad for it too, where like, you kind of want to be more hyped up and you have a like higher personality of yourself essentially where you're more excited
Yeah.
about things. Whereas with Brant, I just think that dude is just one of the most positive motherfuckers on the planet. So like for him, it's super easy, right? It's just, he doesn't really change anything.
Right. Yeah. No, it's wild for sure. He's the homie. Dude kills it.
Absolutely.
And he does some rowdy ass ice picks for sure.
I have such a hard time figuring out all the tricks that he does, man. And there's one that I'm going to try and learn next year. And I don't know if he's actually done this, but I know that he does kind of a variation of it. And I'm sure that he's probably pulled it. So I got really into doing 5 taps this year. And I would love to do like a 5 tap 360 to the coping and then drop it into a lawnmower and then pull it around 180 out on, like a steep bank kicker or even a quarter pipe. I think that would be super sick. He sort of does the weird, like 270 over ice lawnmower on the Worcester skate park spine. And that's kind of where I got the idea. I'm like, I wonder if that would work for a 5 tap.
He does those bastards everywhere and they are mind melters, dude. That's one trick. So, maybe the brake riders are going to roast me right now, but I can't 5 tap. Oof. I also can't lawnmower. I have 5 taps. At least like I can say I have done like a full 5 tap, not like a 3 tap hop around. Like I've done like a fucking legit 5 tap. But I like if you asked me to go do a 5 tap right now, I couldn't do it. Like it would take me like hours to do a 5 tap. For some reason, that's just a trick that I suck ass at.
Dude, and, for me, sorry to interrupt. For me, it's it's one of those things where like I can get it, and like certain sessions, like I went out with my buddy Caleb a couple weeks ago, and just to the local park, dropped in, first try, pulled it perfectly. And
hell
like
yeah, dude.
That's the thing where sometimes I can get it, but most of the time it's just on the shallow end of the bowl at my local park. I would love to get them on a quarter pipe where like it's perfectly on coping, but who knows? Maybe that'll happen next year. It's such a weird and wild trick where like getting it on a quarter seems so like, I don't know, so foreign in a way.
That's another trick that I think I think every trick feels better on a sub box, but I definitely think like a nice like knee high sub box kind of set back like maybe a foot. That trick feels better on. Like it just feels like trash on quarters to me. And that it's probably just me, because I can't really I don't spin a lot, like right. I can 3, but I do dog shit 3s. Like I'm talking over like box jumps. Like I can 3 a box jump, but I've never done a 360 and been like, wow, that probably looked really good. Like I just have like I don't know what it is. Like maybe I just went in straight lines so much racing that like 360s are just like outside of my brain. But I think that's why the 5 taps never like came naturally to me like they did to all the other brake riders. Especially here in Indiana. I feel like everybody does 5 taps except for me.
Dude, I got a challenge for you for next year at the Newcastle skate park that you will constantly ride with the crazy wooden sub rail that you fufanooed. That's the right park, right? Dude,
yep, that's Newcastle.
Let's see you 5 tap that bitch. That would be incredible, dude.
I don't know, dude. I don't know about a 5 tap.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to 3 foof it. So now that I've said it, I have to go do it. But yeah, that's been on the list for a long time. 3 foof on that thing.
That would be wild, man. I would love to see that.
I'll tell you who probably could 5 tap it. I bet you Joey Bagz could 5 tap that.
Ooh, I've had Joey Bagz on the show. I feel like maybe we'll send Joey this clip and maybe he'll go and 5 tap that.
I got a couple little bounty. There's a roof in my buddy's backyard that he said he was going to foof, and he never came and foofed it.
Oh.
So there's a couple of them he's got to come pick up around here, man.
Did he ever do that 900 tap that Casey Smith called him out on?
the 9 cane, because he did like the 1260 tap or whatever crazy thing
Yeah.
that was, but I don't know that he ever did the 9 cane. I don't know how Joey Bagz has not done a 9 cane. There's probably a very good reason that he's got like, you know, calculus out, because I don't know how you can like do that much spinning in like perfect pencil position without being like a geometry teacher. Like the lines have to like appear on the ramp to him probably, but like I don't know how he hasn't done a 9 cane yet. Like that man is insane.
Get it done, Joey. That's what we want to
On
see
and
right
off
now.
the bike. But
oh man, so let's go back to The Scene's Not Dead, and why don't you tell us about where your inspiration came from when it comes to kind of formatting this and making this video magazine?
yeah, well, I don't think it's a secret. No, it was props, Road Fools. Let me see if I got it sitting around here somewhere. There's a copy of Road Fools running around here somewhere. Oh, I got the box set. That's not cool though. It's not the one I grew up with. But yeah, dude. No, that's fucking Baco. Well, apparently Road Fools in here. But yeah, props, Road Fools, dude. I don't know what it was about that video that just kind of hit me, but growing up at the races, there was always a Road Fools on. There was always a props on somewhere. Just kind of like the people I was around, even though I was like, you know, single digit age, I was young, but that was just kind of always around me. And I remember getting like my first Road Fools, like the first Road Fools that I ever owned was Road Fools 15. So Road Fools 13, 14, 15 were the ones where I really started to like understand what I was watching. And I would have been like the 8 or 9 age range. And so I went to my local shop, which was owned by Carl Pointer. It was Hardcore Sports in Newcastle, Indiana. And I bought like a pair of Duffs because that's all I would fucking wear. And I bought like a UGP hoodie that I don't have anymore because some girl stole it, and probably like a chain or something stupid. And as I was walking out, like he just handed me a copy of Road Fools 15 because he was in it, and like they had a couch in there, like they had the coolest fucking shop ever, and they had a couch in there. And I was like sitting there watching it on the TV, and I was like, it was Road Fools, so I was fucking enthralled. And he like handed a copy to me. And like, you look at the case, and it's got like the cool fucking like design gimmick on it, and like I went home and put it in the DVD player. It probably didn't come out for the next 5 years, dude. Like, in high school, you had your normal friends that didn't ride, and they would fall asleep every night to like the fucking Hangover or American Pie or whatever the fucking, DVD they had. And they would always talk about like waking up to the credits music or waking up to the title screen music. Like that was props Road Fools 15 for me. Like just all I ever watched. And then like obviously got the rest of them, and just like, I don't know, dude, it was a thing to me like that. I don't know. I never really thought about it for a long time. Like that was just kind of a thing. And BMX in general was like that. Like BMX has been a part of my life for so long that I didn't really understand that it was a bigger thing than it was until like until like my fucking teenage years. But the whole Road Fools thing, I just knew like that night when I got it from Carl, like put it in the DVD player, I was watching it. I was like, this is what I want to do. Not necessarily the filming it thing, but like I knew that what I was watching was something that I wanted in my life. Like I want to travel around with my friends, ride bikes, act like a fool, and just have a good time. Like doesn't have to be on camera. It doesn't, I don't have to go pro. Like I just knew that like that was something that I wanted to do. And I think the connection came like after the Tim Hankins thing, and probably even further down the line, but like it just like that moment, like I just knew that was something I had to, like I just wanted to do that. I don't know.
Dude, that is so sick to finally meet someone whose favorite road fools is also number 15. So I feel like it's
Yeah,
almost
dude.
blasphemy within the hardcore BMX rider scene where like
Yeah.
everybody always talks about the other road fools, and the second that you're like, I really like 15, you're like, you're a moron. I'm like, it's a good
Well,
fucking road fools, man. I loved it.
yeah, 15 was, I mean, 15 was fucking amazing. And some of the
Definitely.
later ones after that, it was like 16 and 17 started to get weird. And you can tell they got weird because like Levi's, after the Props Rock and Roll tours, Levi's took over the Road Fools and they started to like change, you know?
Definitely.
And then which one was Big Daddy in? Was he in 18?
I think it was
Was he in?
18. Yeah.
Yeah, the
He kept
last one,
talking
right?
about, he was always yelling about winning road fools. That's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I remember all the like the old heads being pissed that Big Daddy was in a fucking Road Fools. And I was like, dude, I don't really care. Like I
Yeah.
thought 18 was good. Like I thought 16 and 17 were weird. I thought 18 was really good. But like I think 15 gets lumped into that like that last four era of Road Fools, which is definitely different from like the glory days for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
But 15 was good, dude, and it was right in my little like the majority of the parks that were in that video, like I either still ride to this day, have rode at some point in my life, or like was around, like know of their existence, like can relate them to my life. So it just like fucking clicked with me. And then like Carl being in it was like, dude, that guy fucking sold me bars, or like it. I don't know. It just like it definitely changed my little like prepubescent brain. And yeah.
Dude, and when you think about it too, 15 has like probably 7, 8, maybe 9 huge names that are still like absolutely massive within the scene, right? Like Aaron Ross,
Yeah.
Chase Hawk, Morgan Wade, Chester Blacksmith was in it, I believe.
Dude, Chet was in it.
Mike Aiken was in it. Only for the
Aiken was in
first
it.
bit. Chase Dehart was in it at some point, I think. At least I'm pretty sure that that's a different one, maybe.
No, different.
Yeah.
Kimbrough was in it.
Kimbrough was in it. Brennan
Josh
Harris. I know
Harrington
that.
in it.
Yeah, Brennan Harris, who's like super, kind of underrated. That dude was in it. Yeah, there's some wild dudes in there, man. And like, I really like that one. I would love nothing more than to go and carve that crazy transition wall that I think is in Detroit, they said. Maybe it's
the
not.
tranny wall.
Yeah.
That's up north for me. I've never been there, but it's up there.
Dude, that thing looks like the greatest fucking time ever. Like, we have some pretty cool spots around here, including a wild dam that is like, you just go as fast as you want and try and carve up it. And like, you'll never reach the top. Like, it's so fucking tall. But that thing is like, oh my God, man. Like, so gnarly.
Yeah.
And then
definitely.
Is it Rye Airfield that's in that park or in that
No. Rye Airfield was in is near like Portsmouth, New Jersey.
Right.
It was like New Jersey, New Hampshire, Eastern Seaboard, fucking over there. So we had Ollie's that they hit in that one. It was in Florence, Kentucky.
Right.
Rest in peace, Ollie's. That place was magical for sure. And then I think they hit Modern in that one, which I've never been to Modern because they got weird for a while. I think with letting the bikes in, I don't know. I've just never really.
Super fucking lame. I hate that shit, man. There's a park that's kind of local to us where it's an indoor park called CJ's, and they have like the only vert ramp in Ontario. And I really want to ride a true vert ramp. And I've rode there before. Like, they used to have a location in Toronto, and now I think it's like maybe other side of Mississauga or something. I can't exactly remember, but there's skate only now. And I think that they do let scooters in, but no bikes. And even when we went there the first time, dude, in the first time, they were like freaking out about pegs. They made us put red tuck tape around the edges of our pegs so we wouldn't fuck up their ramps. And that was the only time that I've ever rode a true vert ramp. And at that time, I could barely do anything. So like, you know, I didn't even get to the coping. And now it's like, I want nothing more than to fucking go and try and do a nice table air. Like, probably only get a foot over coping, but it'd be the best fucking feeling ever.
Yeah, dude, that's one thing. Like, I've always wanted to just ride vert. You know, like if I could trade all of my like tricks, like my whole trick bags and list of abilities, like if I could ship them off and get delivered like a vert rider's profile, I would fucking do it. Like just watching like the dudes around me that ride vert is it's mind blowing. And I don't even really want to do like crazy vert tricks, dude. Like just the like seeing somebody do a 5-foot air on a vert ramp it blows my mind. Like just to be able to like float a vert ramp and ride a vert ramp, like, you know, I would ride a bowl or a line of box jumps, like just to be able to go session it like that would be I want that feeling in my life. And like I can ride a vert ramp, like I can drop in, get a couple foot of air, but like, you know, I'm not ripping a vert ramp, you know?
Yeah, dude. To rip a vert ramp is almost like you're the top tier of BMX rider, right? Because I feel like that's the one thing that everybody unanimously agrees on is scary as fuck. Like you have dudes out there that can ride trails and that can rip bulls and whatnot, but you take them to a vert ramp and like no matter what, I feel like everybody's got, you know, some nerves going into that.
Yeah, and I think vert is more forgiving than people think. Obviously, I have no fucking clue. Like I'm kind of speculating here, but there's so much transition in a vert ramp. Like if you're riding a 13-foot vert ramp, that's usually like 11 and a half foot of transition, if I'm thinking about that right. Like that is a lot of room to like catch you and not like fucking die. You know, like you could pop out pretty far and like be good, you know? And even on the like riding away side of things, like if you're riding a 6-foot quarter pipe, you know, you could blow to flat pretty easy. But like I got a guy that rides up here, super underrated. His name's Isaiah Potter, a buddy of mine, known him for a long time since the Crossroad days. And this guy goes higher than fucking Snoop Dogg on an airplane, dude. Like goes higher than shit. Like he goes high.
Holy fuck. I don't know why that made me fucking laugh so hard, but that was incredible. Holy fuck.
But like watching him ride a vert ramp, you know, like he just fucking rip it. And if he comes out a foot from the coping, you know, it's like, well, I've got all this transition, and he'll just like fucking extend, catch it, and like keep going. And in my mind, I'm like, dude, if I blast out on a vert ramp, I'm fucking dead. Like fuck that. But
dude, yeah, it's like fucking terrifying to ride a vert ramp. And yeah, props to anybody that actually can. I saw that I believe it's the September issue of The Scene's Not Dead. You guys went to a park that has a crazy fucking vert ramp.
What is that? Wait, are you talking about in Louisville?
Yeah.
Like it has it in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, that park is the park's amazing.
The roll-in for that looks like it's probably like a 17, 18 foot like tall platform, and then you just drop in. And dude, like some of the clips where you're just sitting there talking and like I am just so focused, man, on that fucking vert ramp. Like there's clips where you cannot see the top of the roll-in, and I'm like, that is the scariest fucking thing on the planet. Only because I know that that's like a 13-foot tall vert ramp. Like that is a true vert ramp.
That's the vert ramp that I like did my first vert drop in on, and it's a good one, dude. It's a good one. It definitely is like a mind over matter type of thing, because it definitely is huge. That skate park has been there, dude, forever. Obviously since before I can remember. And they used to have a wood one, and that park used to be gnarlier than it is. Like, so that park has a vert bowl too. I don't think I filmed any clips in it, but it's got a 13-foot vert bowl with pool coping and a full pipe and a 15-foot high wormhole. One of the Hallahans has a clip there where he came charging, and it's got like a toilet bowl section where like you've got the transitions up here, and then there's a part that leans back. and it'd be like a 6 foot quarter on top of a 6 foot roller, basically. And he came charging and jumped like over the toilet bowl into the transition, hit this massive like bowl corner, and then just ripped like, yeah. Look that clip up to like see the bowl I'm talking about. But that skate park has got some shit, and it used to be gnarlier. And yeah, dude, I love Louisville. It's a good park.
Yeah, man, that place looks incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so full of like the craziest gaps. I love the rollers on the like quarter pipes, basically, where like it's a huge hip and it's just rolled over nicely, where like you could probably just go as fast as you want and like you're good.
Yeah, do that. And the thing that sucks, and I could say this probably about every video that I've ever filmed, like I didn't get half of the shit that I wanted to get. Like you can't tell you how many times like I'm standing around holding a fucking camera that's not on and a beer, like talking shit to somebody, and then like somebody does something ridiculous over that hip or anywhere, and I'm just like, wow, that would have been really cool if I was fucking filming it. But
dude, it's definitely, I get what you're saying. It's hard to kind of be involved and also film, right? Like anytime that I do a jam, the only time that I've really done a jam and filmed in the last 5 years was for my Money Talks jam last year, just because like I knew it was going to be crazy. I knew people were going to throw down, but like hyping people up, giving away money, and like, you know, making sure that everybody's got water and everything while filming everything is one of the hardest things in the world. And luckily, you know, I get lucky because in Ontario, at least, you know, high school kids have to do 40 hours of volunteer work to actually graduate. Like it's a set thing. So I always just tell like high school BMX kids, hey, you want hours towards that? Come to me. You just give out water, pick up trash at the jam. You can literally ride, do whatever you want. You're just hanging out with your friends. You just got to do a little bit of work and I'll give you 10 hours off your 40. Like easy, right?
Cool. That's fucking cool. Hell yeah.
Dude, that's how I got all my hours in high school. Like I did other ones as well, but I literally put in like my 40 hours of, you know, volunteer work just doing that.
You gotta find out how to get free labor down here, dude.
Oh man. Yeah.
Get some AV kids, dude.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be wicked. I don't let anybody film just because I'm so particular. So I'm like, I just want to be able to be behind the camera and like yell and like tell people what to do, but that's it. Yeah. Like, yeah.
And so like I've had some people hold the camera for me because like also we've got like a little crew of a handful of people that have just been like, you know, doing shit this year. It's like me, Casey Smith, Hannah Stevens. And a lot, I'm missing people, and I feel like shit for that. But Cole Grove held that Thanks Jibbing Jam earlier. Like they're just people in the scene that like at the same time just kind of like all activated like fucking Power Rangers, and they're like, dude, we're gonna get this done. We're gonna do stuff. But so like when we as a group like put something on, I always want to like. I want to do something other than film. Like usually it's like hold a microphone and announce and like, you know, have a good time and drink. And in doing that, I've like asked some people to hold the camera, and I kind of feel bad about doing that because in asking somebody who's at the jam to hold the camera, like I am asking them to step out of the jam for a minute and like focus on filming. And like, I hate taking that away from people, but on the other side of it, I also hate having people film for me because like it's hard as fuck to film with this camera. Like this camera is not meant to do what I am doing with it. So if like it's your first time using it, like it's just going to look like dog shit, you know? And it's hard to say that because, you know, like I appreciate them like stopping what they were doing and filming for me basically. Like it's not like I can pay them or anything. So like they're basically just doing me a favor, like from the bottom of their heart. And like, I'm really thankful for that. And then I get home and I look at the footage. I'm like, yeah, fuck, can't use any of it. Like, it sucks. No matter how you look at it, like it sucks. But.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's the thing that sucks about using a good, like really good camera, right? Is that handing it off to someone else that doesn't know how to use it makes things difficult, man. Like even there's a clip in HVXgoats where I'm doing this huge rail, and I think it's a 24 stair rail. And from the bottom, it looks good because I set up the camera on a tripod. I told the guy like exactly how he should be moving it, and I made him do it a couple times to really like get it. And then I went back up to do it again just to get a second angle of it. And in those clips, the exposure on the camera is way too bright to where like you can't like change any of it in After Effects or anything. So it's one of those things where like I still used it, but yeah. And the funny thing is the guy who filmed that like shoots incredible photos all the time and does do awesome video stuff, but it's just like, dude, handing off a camera to someone else, if they don't understand how to use it and they like don't say anything, then yeah, it's just gonna end up like that.
Yeah. I've been wanting to get another camera that would be more kind of like user friendly, because back in the day, and this even kind of goes back to like the prop stuff we were talking about earlier. It was really easy to buddy cam with like a handy cam, especially with like those VXs. Like you just hand your buddy the camera. It's got a big red button and a fucking zoom rocker, dude. You just, it's no different than handing your buddy an iPhone today, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been wanting to pick up another Canon camera, so the color profiles will stay the same, but Canon's got some really cool kind of handy cam cameras. They're just all expensive as dog shit, dude. And I'm a broke boy, so.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think it'd be cool to pick up one of those. And if like this thing starts to grow a little bit more, being able to have like a camera that I could like give to people for a weekend to go, film a section for me while I'm at a different place filming a section. But yeah, right now I'm stuck with well, I'm not stuck with, I shouldn't say that. I love this camera, dude. This is the piece we're working with now. I'm rocking on a Canon C100 Mark 1, not Mark 2, but it has the upgrade. So it's got the dual point autofocus or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tank. It's older than piss. Well, it's a 10-year-old camera now.
Hey man, my favorite camera is an HVX. Those are like 15, 16, 17 years old. Those are old motherfucking cameras.
Right. Yeah,
dude, the C100, I think we were talking beforehand and I was just saying like it's one of my favorite cameras that I've always wanted to use. Yeah, they're sick. Like really, really cool.
Dude, well, I don't know if the borders are open now, but you gotta get out. I gotta get up there. You gotta get down here. I'll let you.
Man, if you ever want to make a trip up here, especially even next year, and film one of my jams, just hang out for a week, take you to Toronto. We'll fucking do everything else. You got a place to stay. Yeah. You just got to drive. I think it's about 8 hours to get here. So
I've drove more than 8 hours this month. Like I'm down.
Yeah,
I will drive any amount of time.
Dude, you got a place to stay, and I'll take time off work so that we can get in as much as possible. So
stoked, dude.
Fuck
yeah, for sure. Yeah, the C100, man. It's I think it's the perfect camera for me. Like I kind of got it out of opportunity. Like I wasn't really shopping for cameras, but I just kind of like looking and seeing what was available. Like had money that I knew I was going to spend on a camera, and just figured whenever something came up, like I'd grab it. And I just saw it on Marketplace one day in like Chicago. I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm going to get that. And me and the girlfriend got in the car and just drove straight to Chicago, sat in like a Needler's parking lot or something and waited for the guy to show up. And drove home with a new to me Canon C100. And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, because everything else I had done before this was on like a Canon 80D, which was a great camera to learn on. But,
definitely.
I don't think the DSLR life is for me. Like, I think they're great for certain people or for like certain situations. And I think that might be changing. I don't know how much I agree with that now, as opposed to when I bought this, which is only like, a year of kind of difference there. But like, I think the DSLR's time is coming to a close. But with this, it's not super perfect, I think, for filming BMX, but for filming what I'm doing, I think it works out really great. mostly because of like the audio thing, like being able to plug a microphone in and not have to worry about like anything. Like literally, like I can leave one channel set and like plug the microphone in and then just do my thing and then unplug it and go. And it's beautiful, dude. And I don't ever put any other lens on this thing. Like this is a full on cinema camera with a Canon Prime on it, like a kit lens, basically, which is travesty, dude. Some people would get really pissed about this, probably, but I got like a $80 lens on what, like, you know, they used to film Netflix videos on this shit,
dude.
like,
That camera when it first came out was like, I think a $5,000-$6,000 camera. So it's hilarious to see that it's like $80 lens, right?
I slap it on there, and there might be a handful of clips in my videos that weren't filmed with this specific pancake lens. And, that it's kind of just become, I don't want to say like an art style. That sounds really, that sounds like a bit much, but it definitely is fun to have to like film around something. Like a lot of kids will ask, you go to the skate park and kids see a camera and they just want to come up and ask questions. So they're like, what camera would you recommend? And I always tell them, no matter what, it's like, whatever camera you've got, like go film something with your iPhone or whatever you got laying around, because like you'll make something better. Like whatever you're going to make, it will turn out better if you're filming, like trying to film something cool with what you have, as opposed to thinking about what you could film if you had something else. Like if that makes sense. Like instead of trying to think about what you can make and what you need to make it, like just like looking at what's in front of you and making the best of it is always going to like, I feel like it's going to yield better results. Like it's just, there's more ingenuity in that, I guess. So I feel like my entire filming style at this point just kind of revolves around the fact that I've got a fucking pancake lens on a cinema camera. Like,
oh man, I love that. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. The only thing that I disagree with is if you only have access to something that shoots mini DV tape, upgrade, man, because I can't fucking do it anymore. I literally shot on tape for years, dude, and I am so happy that I never have to deal with tapes again. There's just so many like missed clips because of like tape glitches, and then everything else. The fact that tapes aren't even produced anymore, so the price of them is just going to go higher and higher as the stock runs out. Like, yeah, it's if that's the only thing that you have access to, and you don't even have like a phone, then you got to figure something out, because like a phone is perfect for nowadays, especially for most people, right? Like Instagram is where a lot of people are posting anyways. So, I mean, just get a modern phone. They all have fisheye in them now anyways. So
for sure. And like, so about the mini DV thing, like I went and rode that 815 Union Jam. Shout out to those guys. They're amazing. Their camera is a VX 2100, I believe.
right.
And I think they have a conversion now, like where it just goes straight to.
There's definitely some like HD add-ons where it's essentially like a capture card where you just plug it into the
shows straight to like SD card.
Yeah, it's basically like a capture card. So you plug it into where your audio jacks would be and your video jack, and it like films that. And there is some like recorders that do that. So one of the ones that I've seen, like, can actually upscale footage to like 4K from, like a Sony A7, which I have, which is only 1080. Like there's some weird stuff that you can do sometimes with these. And it is definitely sick to see that. And it's a great way to keep the VX still alive, to nowadays. But for me, man, I'm all HD now, unfortunately, for a lot of people. A lot of people still love that, and I get it. I'm just not there anymore.
Well, I need the VX guys to keep kicking, because like the longer that the VX guys are around, that means the longer that I don't have to worry about shooting in 4K. And my reasoning is, like, if people are still like cherishing like a 720p clip that's 30 frames a second and looks like it was bathed in piss, then like I can film shaky clips in 1080p till the day I die. and that's amazing.
Oh,
'Cause I
hell
really
yeah.
don't have any interest in like it. I love 4K clips, and like Ryan was out at Swamp Fest running around with his fucking red Komodo. I think it was a Komodo. I don't know, but running around with his red, and like those clips look fucking phenomenal. Like they look amazing, But that's also, it's not my place, and there's no reason to like film the scene's not dead in 4K. Like it's not going to give it any value. I think it kind of goes the other way, where like this is a passion project, and it having that kind of like 1080p Canon color buzz to it kind of makes it feel like more of an art project than
Absolutely.
than coverage. And that's exactly what I want. Like I feel like if I were to go any better, like if I were to make the videos look any better, then it would start to fall into the I'm a YouTuber category. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to
Not
be
again,
paying
not.
some dude named Austin to follow you all the time?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. Yeah, it's cameras are interesting, man. It's like at the end of the day, really all that matters is that you have something that you can use that you feel comfortable using, right? Like I never thought that I'd be a Sony guy, but these days, man, I'm loving my A7, and like I am totally gonna look into getting one of the like cinema cameras through Sony at some point.
Sony's got some really good ones that I can't think of off the top of my head, because they name all their cameras like fucking robots,
Oh
and it
man.
just makes them impossible to remember. But they've got a couple really cool cinema cameras that have like almost like an expanded handy cam look to them, and they're all interchangeable lens. So like to me, that it looked perfect when I was looking. These like FP 9000
Yeah, who knows,
maybe.
man.
But well, yeah, I'm gonna look as soon as
Yeah.
I'm later. But the only reason I didn't go the Sony route was I'm pretty sure Sony has like an awful magenta shift like on their sensors, and I just really like Canon's color kind of realm, like
Yeah,
how it just
fair enough.
comes in body. And I was already on Canon, so I already had the lenses, and I don't want to have to switch. And
You'd never want to get
I'm
rid of
not.
that $80 pancake lens.
Yeah, for sure. That, yeah, dead serious, dude.
No,
And
I
I'm
get it,
still
dude.
doing it. Yeah.
I totally
Um,
get it.
yeah, I was definitely doing, I mean, everything I'm doing is on a budget, like big
Yeah.
time. So, yeah, the lenses were a big factor. And kind of, that's another thing that like made the C100 so great is in body. I got the audio. I got the lens now because it never comes off, and the ND filters. Like I didn't have to worry about anything. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely, man.
Only
Um,
it had stabilization.
yeah. Fair enough, eh? So yeah, let's get back on The Scene's Not Dead. So
Yep.
back in August, you decided to start doing these as a monthly series, and I was really curious as to why you kind of made that switch, and why you didn't do that any sooner.
So I think I kind of touched on it a little bit, but so we've got like this. I don't know if you want to call it a crew. I mean, it's a scene, really. Like just the scene in Indiana, kind of like some. I don't know how to say this and not sound fucking weird, but more jams started happening. Like there's just like a handful of people that, like I said, we're just like we're gonna do shit, and we're gonna make it less of like a rarity that we see all of these people. Like I think we just got tired of like doing the whole relative thing where it's like, oh, I'll see you at the next holiday. Like we wanted to jam out all the fucking time, basically. So we started doing that. And that was a slow burn, just like everything else. Like the beginning of the year, we were lucky if we got, one jam a month. And now it feels like I was saying every weekend there was a jam. So it was just like July going into August. I was just like, dude, I got to film all of this. Like, I can't just go to one jam and then forget about the rest of this. So, like, I was looking at the schedule, and it was the first time I've ever been able to like pencil in like a whole month's worth of stuff. And that was like a real coming of age moment. Made me feel really important to be like, well, I've got to be here on this day, whatever. But that was kind of it. It was just things in my kind of local area just started to go off so much that it felt like I would be, it would be wrong of me not to film all of it. So
Definitely.
yeah, and then yeah.
No, continue.
No, I was just say like and kind of in that I also was trying to create something of like a feedback loop, I guess. Like at that point, like people were watching them, and not like a whole bunch, obviously, but like people are watching them and people care. And like I started to get people that would message me, which happens. If anybody that's ever sent me a message and said like, "Hey, this is awesome. I love what you're doing," that means the absolute fucking world to me, and I love that. And I'm not the super best at like replying to things like that, but like I do see them, and I love that. And yeah, it means a lot to me. But so like that kind of started to happen. Like I was getting a lot of messages of people just like being hyped. And so I thought maybe if there was more, like if it looked like more was going on, that it would just, fucking snowball. And eventually there'll just be like infinite jams to go to. But
I love it.
So
man.
I guess that's kind of the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, that's super sick, dude. I honestly think I really hope that this is like a monthly thing from now on and that you're able to make it happen, constantly. But yeah, I think what you're doing is super sick, and I'm really, really stoked that it's become a monthly thing, and that, in the next year or so, I've got 12 new The Scene's Not Dead videos to check out.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the monthly thing is going to be interesting here going into the winter months. Like I'm already feeling that like drought kind of, because now I can't just go anywhere. But I think I'm going to be able to fire off a December issue. I'm pretty sure I will be able to, and then we'll see what like January, February looks like. I would assume by March I'll be perfectly fine. But,
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting going into January. Who knows where it's going? At some point, I would like to like have other people filming these things for me or with me. For me is not the right word at all. And go down maybe sort of the same path as like a props visual.
Hell yeah,
Chris
man.
Rye figured it out.
Wicked.
Yeah. So have to get up to fucking Michigan or not Michigan, Wisconsin, and get some Chris Rye input.
Yeah,
school me on the ways of it. But
that would be wicked. Now, I was really curious. Have you ever considered doing The Scene's Not Dead as a DVD format that would, be delivered monthly or bi-monthly?
So I definitely have plans to put them on DVD.
Nice, dude. I'm super excited for that.
And I don't think they are long enough at this point to put a single issue on a DVD and say that's it. But I definitely want to do a DVD with like maybe the first year or something, and in like a bundle format, and then have like the pre-video magazine stuff as its own little like section in there. And I don't really know how I'm going to do it all yet. I got a lot of ideas kind of brewing up, a lot of stuff that I've wanted to kind of get off the ground, and they're all kind of boiling up, and at some point each little pot will like boil over and it'll get there. But the DVD thing, like I love DVDs, and I would buy like my own DVD, obviously. Like I think it would be awesome, and like I'd buy other people's DVDs, so I would love to put it on DVD at some point. But I think there's like another answer to fill that void that DVD is left, right? Like I think there's an intuitive way to kind of have a type of media that feels like DVD used to feel. And that idea might sound crazy. Like I feel like I'm just kind of talking in a circle, but what I'm kind of thinking, the way I'm kind of thinking is like the like the Nathan Williams part that he released as a download only, and
Yeah.
now
Trey.
and now Trey's got one, and then there was a third one. Sorry, I'm not remembering it, but
I think Dylan Stark did his as one as well.
really,
Yeah, I think he put out one, but it did release like publicly.
didn't
Eventually.
Was it DeMarcus Paul? Did he have one?
Oh man, I wish I knew. I think so. All I know is there's more people doing it, and I absolutely love
Right.
that, man. It's really, really cool to see. And to anybody that's bitching about having to buy a $3 11-minute video part, dude, fuck off. Like
They
it
don't.
is
They don't know how
so-
much a props subscription used to cost.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Like,
Dude, those kids don't understand the cost of making something like that. Like,
oh,
I
yeah.
know for a fact you understand just how much it costs to get out and make these things. And, like, even for me, as someone who basically just sits in this room making content, still costs money. Like, it all costs money to make.
just in man hours, there's a lot of worth there, and like, luckily for me, I can justify the expense as like I would have fucking win anyways, so I might as well like film while I'm there. But
Yeah.
like just and just getting places costs money, and then like I said, the man hours. So like I I'm not upset. And I don't understand how you can bitch about buying a download, but then buying a DVD is completely fine just because it's a physical copy. Like, you can download the digital part. Like, I think it sucks because I do love like tangible media. Like I'm just kind of an eclectic person, so
Yeah.
I enjoy that shit. But yeah, I don't really have a problem with downloadable parts. I mean, that's how fucking video games are now anyways. It's all the same shit,
Dude, I never thought I'd be the kind of person that like buys a video game digitally just because I am such a like I love collecting shit, man. I love having physical copies of everything, but like I think half the games on my PS4 right now are all downloaded to it, or like, I have to re-download them to play them, like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't bother me at all. Which is really strange.
I kind of got out of the whole like gaming world before that was ever really a thing. Like,
Right.
I probably haven't touched a console since like right before the Xbox One came out. But like I was super into it, but only because of like the collecting shit. Like I've got a box in there with like 300 SNES games on it. Or in it.
Nice, dude. Fucking hold on to those.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got a whole closet full of just shit that I haven't touched, and I don't want to get rid of it, but I definitely want to like put it on a shelf at some point. But I do like I'll play games on the computer sometimes. Like I play a lot of CS:GO. It's like I've never owned a copy of CS:GO. Nobody's owned a copy of CS:GO. Like the whole computer thing has always kind of been like no tangible media, at least like any point past the 90s. So
yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I think it's going to be super sick to see this come out on DVD, even if you were to do it as a yearly thing. And just to kind of give you some ideas, like you were saying, a download code is such a good idea. And what you could do is you just do a DVD with a download code on the inside of it as well.
Yeah.
So then people would go to, a website and just plug that in and get the DVD from there. Yeah, I think that would be a good way to do it. I was honestly sitting here earlier today thinking of like different ideas to kind of shoot for you, just because, man, I know how it is. Like the last DVD that I released, Space Goats, I had way less sales than the first one. I did sell them all, but it was one of those things where I didn't buy as many copies, and because of that, I noticed like right away, I don't think I would have sold as many because people had kind of transitioned from DVD to basically just downloading everything. And at this point, I didn't have anything set up, so there's no way that I could just go and sell it, essentially. The other thing you got to worry about, too, is licenses and whatnot. As like a small DVD thing, you're probably fine. But if the second you start selling like thousands of copies, you're probably going to have some people knocking on your door wanting some cash, right? That's always how it works.
Right. And that's another kind of reason I'm happy that it's like a slow burn, and not that I think that it, would blow up anyways, but um, it's cool to kind of learn some of those things because I have thought about like if this went to be like a pretty professional style video magazine, like how am I going to handle the licensing, stuff like that. And so like it's kind of nice that it's small time like that, so I can kind of take my time and learn as I go. And it's really just kind of, it's all grassroots, ground up. It's pretty cool. But I've definitely learned that the licensing's no joke. The YouTube does not give a fuck about your feelings or wants or
Yeah.
needs. And yeah, you can't use Saves the Day on YouTube, dude, and that sucks. It's like my favorite band, and I can't use them in any of my videos. It sucks ass. And I'm terrified every time I make a video because, like, usually I'll check, like, I'll do little like tests to see if the song I'm gonna use is gonna get shot down. And like the last video I did, no, would have been September's video. I did that Own jam was Casey Smith's jam, and he had a hard on for this song by Phoebe Bridgers, and so I wanted to use that because it was his jam. And I was like, dude, there's no fucking way YouTube's gonna let me use a Phoebe Bridgers song. Like, she's way out of my fucking pay scale. Like, there's a reason I use like pretty underground bands,
Which I
so
love,
like,
by the way. I like
yeah,
most of the music that you have on there. I've either listened to or like have that band in my Spotify. I was definitely
dude,
blown away to hear like some Rufio in the first video that you made. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, this is stuff that I listened to when I was in high
yeah,
school, like all the time.
yeah. That first episode, where I used Rufio and who was it, The Movie Life or something like that? I don't
Maybe.
remember.
Let me
I
check.
checked the description, but I felt like I was flying pretty close to the sun on that one too, because they're good bands and they're definitely underground, but they're way more known than some of the other music. Like I've gone up and down. Oh, that the This Is BMX video. I feel like that one had a pretty good soundtrack, but
Yeah.
that one's not the one that had Rufio in it. That's got like Piebald and the Starting Line, and who else is in there? 4 Years Strong. But the first Scene's Not Dead has Rufio and
Messed Hotel Room.
Mest. Son of a bitch. Yeah, that's a good one, dude. That's a good one.
Hell yeah. Dude, that is wicked.
And then the whole thing kind of switched because I guess in that period of time I was listening to like a lot of like more pop punky kind of music, and then like, which is weird because I've always listened to like just a shit ton of emo. Like, that's like all I listen to is emo music, and then for some reason I was just in like a pop punk kick or something, and so yeah, that's how you end up with Rufio and Mest.
I love it, man. That is so wicked. I'd love to hear some Boys Night Out on one of these, but I don't know if that's a good BMX one or not. That band's
I don't
wicked,
know.
though.
I'll try it.
Definitely.
I've definitely like ripped a few songs and like started making a section and then like didn't like the vibe and like took it out. Like Props Rock had such an impression on like the music I listen to and who I am as a person that like, I don't know, the soundtrack to me is important, like almost more important than like anything else, which probably isn't the way it should be. But
well, dude,
yeah.
The other thing too is like when you're creating BMX content, music is such a big thing because if the music doesn't fit the riding, it throws off the vibe completely. And especially when you're doing like a jam style video or even like a video magazine, you have multiple different riders. You can't really build a section, right? Like,
Right.
when I was doing DVDs, like I would have clips figured out on where they would go with each part of the song, right? And like
Oh yeah.
I would literally go out filming knowing exactly what I need to do so that I could have that match up perfectly. Whereas with, doing what you're doing, it's essentially the music is picked afterwards, and it's a lot harder to time that out and make things work.
That's very true, but there's also like props rock is props rock for a couple reasons. First off, it's probably just what they could get their hands on, I assume, from the licensing. But also, like, there's some kind of formula to it in the way the music is structured, like where you can throw like an interview and like where the writing goes and where like, the big ender goes and stuff like that. So like it all falls together kind of formulaically, I guess. But not in a bad way, I guess. Like there's still like every song is, its own song, and they it's kind of like a feel thing, dude. Every song, like when you're cutting together videos like this, yeah, I don't know what it's gonna look like until I've got it pulled up and I'm putting clips down. But like I definitely know like what I'm listening for. Like, yeah, I could cut to this intro and then it could start here and then I could start talking and shit like that. So that's why like I think it's funny when people are listening to like my playlist and they're like, dude, every fucking song sounds the same. And I'm like, well, kind of on purpose.
Dude, yeah. I listen to ska. Like that is what I do. I love ska. So, dude, I hear that all the time. It's like every song's 2.5 minutes and it's all horns. I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely it is.
I love ska because I don't listen to ska. Like, there's not a lot of ska on my playlist, which I'm sorry you had to hear me say that. But, like, I'll listen to, like, Less Than Jake, and then the rest of it, like, I love it when people play ska because it just sounds like a stereotype. And I love the stereotype. And it's hilarious to me to, like, hear people, like, explain ska and then hear ska and be like, yeah, this is exactly what he said. And I love that. I went out to that backyard ramp in Illinois. It's at John Willie's house. Badass.
Dude, that place looks fucking insane. It is
that is the old Rampage spine.
Yeah, dude.
That place is...
It's nuts.
Yeah, that place is fucking insane. That's another place, dude. I just like... So, Dan Evil Hilton, another fucking underground legend, who like is a name around the Midwest that like I just kind of knew growing up, and then through the internet like met him recently on Instagram. Not met him, but like talked to him on Instagram. And then one weekend he was just like, dude, come to this. And I was like, fucking sure. So like I drove out there, and that's a drive. I don't remember how many hours that is, but that's a drive. So I drive out there. I get out there at like 9 p.m. on a Friday, and Dan's not even there. I just show up at this dude's house who I've never met with my buddy in my shitty car, and they're like, hey. And then you just like hang out all weekend, and by the end of the weekend you got like a new friend. It's fucking insane. But I showed up there with no clue what was going to go on. I show up in a backyard in the middle of 2 cornfields in Illinois, and Rampage's old spine is there. And like, I've just met 2 of the gnarliest shredders that I could ever imagine. Like John and Jonathan Willie are father and son. And the dad is like just a mid-school fucking shredder, just like Illinois hardened. Like Illinois is the most fucking cutthroat state for BMX in the world. Like all they do is talk shit and like do air to Smiths. Like that's all they do is just like talk shit and thrash.
Yeah.
So like they're just fucking gnarly up there. And him and his son just shred. Why did I start? Oh, I remember why I said this. So like I go up there thinking like Illinois BMX is just like fucking salty, dude. Like don't you dare fucking mention the word scooter around them. Like
You're right.
Lose it. And so I go up there thinking that, and then he like turns the radio on and it's all ska. That's all I listened to all weekend was like 48 hours of ska. And I was like, dude, I just did not imagine that they were going to be listening to ska. I figured I was going to go listen to Pantera all weekend.
Dude, that's incredible. It sounds like I need to move to fucking Illinois. That seems like the greatest place on earth.
I love Illinois, dude. I love the entire like Midwest kind of scene. And so I'm not super versed on Canadian geography, but you're kind of like in the Midwest area, right? Like sorta.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm not very versed in US geography,
So how far are you from Detroit? Like
about 2.5, 3 hours, I think.
yeah,
Like,
so like it's 8 hours for me to get to like Iowa. It's 8 hours for me to get to you too, basically. Like
yeah,
Toronto is like 8 hours. So like in my mind, that's basically like Midwest. I
right.
didn't, I'm a stupid American, so I didn't really realize that like Toronto was that close to me. But like I was looking at the map the other day, like which is another hobby of mine now because I'm starting to travel around the Midwest so much. I'll just be like, I wonder how far this city is from this city. And I was just like, holy shit, Toronto's like right there.
Yeah, it's not far, man. And like the cool thing about where I am is I am in Kitchener Waterloo. So I am literally right in the middle of Toronto and London, Ontario. And then you have all the spots in Kitchener too. And like London and Toronto are both huge BMX cities, man, where like there's always crazy spots. There's always like shredders. And Kitchener is like, dude, teams used to come here all the time to film shit. Like the
Right.
Kink team was here all the time. Rider BMX, which is one of the biggest Canadian BMX distributors, is right here in Kitchener. So like there's so much. The first 900 was pulled here. I mean, you probably already knew that because you listened, but yeah, like it's pretty wild to be where I am because I am perfectly in the middle of like all these places to go and ride.
It's fucking cool. Yeah, that was kind of the thing with Fort Wayne, I guess, and like that's where that whole Fat House crew was, and like I'm starting to realize what they meant when they were saying that now, because like I kind of grew up with like the Fat House runoff, like being around this area, you just had those kind of names like just around, like those were just the names, like those were the big dudes,
right?
And yeah, like now that I'm starting to travel this much, like I get it. I'm like, well, I can get, like you got like the 2 hour ring where you can go like Columbus, and you can go Louisville, and then you've got like the 4 hour ring where you've got like Cleveland and St. Louis, and then it all just kind of like it's all a big circle being right in the middle of the Midwest. And it's all, I mean, the majority of it's just like back and forth across 70. But yeah, I love being where I'm at, and it's cool to kind of not as cool as like the first 900 spot, but like the Fat House being up there is kind of cool to live in the runoff of that. And all the names that came through, basically where I'm at is fucking awesome, dude.
Dude, that's wicked. It definitely sounds like you're in a good spot where you've got so many different states around you that you can just go and shred at. Like it's got to be pretty sick, man.
Yeah, it's a good spot not only for that, but like kind of like I was saying, just like the people that I got to be around growing up, like racing. I was around the Streebies a lot, which is fucking cool. And still, I mean, I see them a bunch. Nate's starting to ride a little bit more, and Brian's, fucking running all over the place now. And then the kind of Fort Wayne crew, which would have been like post Fat House, was like I got Rich Hoppy up there. He's the fucking best. Love Rich Hoppy. Josh Wombat, talked about him a little bit. 4910 trails, which are like the post ravine trails. See Scotty Yocolette riding up there all the time. He's if you ever meet Scotty Ocolette, go up, shake his hand, and call him a legend. He loves it when you do that.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. There's just like a lot of names, dude, that were just kind of in our little area for no fucking reason. Not only just like the names that like live here, but that would like come through like riding with people. And I don't think I got the best era of that, because there was like a time period before mine where there was like the Flow, there was Blindside and Indy, there was Just Ride and Anderson, and like, and then you had like the out west parks that I really don't know anything about, but like Scrap and Rampage and stuff like that. And the Midwest was just kind of like a fucking gold mine of just riders and people traveling around. I kind of missed out on that era, I think, but I definitely got a cool one still. So it's nice to be where I'm at for sure.
Yeah, there's quite a few, pretty important people within the scene that are kind of in that area, obviously James from early 2000s BMX, he actually worked at the Flow, and like
he is the fucking BMX historian, dude. Like, I gotta blow my mind sometimes. He'll just say shit and I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? I love that guy.
Yeah, dude, James is sick. I've been meaning to get on another live stream with him soon. He's seriously one of the coolest dudes. He's so knowledgeable when it comes to BMX, and when we did a show, it was literally like so hard not to just sit there and talk about clips for so long, right? Like, I really wanted to know more about him, but I found that we constantly were just going back to like crazy footage that came out. Like, it's just nuts. He's one of those dudes.
Yeah, he's one of those dudes that I would like want to just like sit and talk. Like, there's a lot of guys in BMX that are like that, and I love people like that in life, to where like they'll have a conversation with themselves and you just kind of like sit and witness it. I just love that, especially from like the generation above me, or like just dudes that have been in BMX longer than me, because like them telling you that story is more than just them like talking or being old and washed up. Like that, like them telling you that kind of gives that story like almost like a second life. It's like there's not really, there's no BMX history books, and like there are videos and stuff that you can go back to, but like they don't get everything, and those stories are important, and I fucking love that shit. Like when people just like start talking and they just go off on the most like fucking random tangents about like some trip they went on with some dude in somewhere in 1997. I fucking love that shit. I don't know.
Definitely, man. That's why I started the podcast, right? Is just to like sit down and chat with people and learn more about BMX. And the best way is just talking to people that have been there and done all of it, right?
For sure.
Absolutely. So I got one more question for The Scene's Not Dead before we wrap that up. And then I got a couple more after that, if you're cool with that. What are some of your favorite moments on camera or even behind the camera that, came from this? Like, is there anything behind the scenes that no one really knows about that was just like super cool?
Well, like, first off, I want to take the cop-out answer and just say that like all of it is my favorite. Like, it all means a lot to me, because like I would be doing this, or at least in my head, I would be like, I would have had the same year, camera or not. Like, to me, the time I'm spending with the people that I'm spending it with is its own thing. And then the episodes are its own thing. I never want that to kind of like impact the experiences or the friendships or the relationships that I make at BMX, because like they really are everything to me. It is like, dumb and sappy as that sounds, like when you ride BMX for as long as I have, it's like my whole personality. Like, if I didn't ride BMX, I don't know what person I would be. Like, this is all I've ever done. Like, it defines my entire personality. So like it really does mean a lot to me to share like these friendships and these experiences. So like to be able to like film them and kind of have that reminder, or just kind of like, have it mean to like have it live on past just that experience itself is really cool to me. But for like an actual answer that's not like a sappy cop out, dude, that like we were just talking about John Willie's ramp, that weekend was insane. Going to meet him and his son Jonathan really was just fucking mind blowing to me, because they're both so rad, and some of the stories John can tell, and like he's just been around forever. That was fucking incredible to me. Because kind of like what I was saying, like I just love it when like people can talk and just tell stories, and those stories like they stick with me. So like, you know, that Friday night I stayed up just sitting at a fire with a guy like I had literally just met that night, and just listened to him talk for until like 2 a.m. Like it was magical. And then to wake up the next morning and watch his son do some of the most fucking insane tricks ever. Like that kid, that camera doesn't do it justice. That kid gets every foot of 10 foot high on a box jump, and then can like, he just shreds, dude. There's no sense in me even trying to explain how good this kid is. Like he's just really good. And the part that pisses me off is he's got 2 clips on his Instagram, dude. Jonathan Willie, if you're watching this, post clips on your damn Instagram, dude. I'm telling you, kid needs to post on his Instagram more. But going out there was an experience. Even like going to meet those 815 Union dudes. Like I knew a couple guys out from like their area, and I didn't really know any of them. Like I didn't know what 815 Union was, and I just saw that like flyer on my timeline, and I was like, well, you know, fuck it, I'll go out there. Maybe I'll see some homies that I've rode with in the past. And I did. I saw, you know, like the homies I knew from meeting at other jams, but I met like the guys behind 815 Union. Robert, I can't pronounce your last name. I'm not even going to try without looking at it. So it was Robert, Rafael Martinez, and then Kyler. I don't remember his last name either, but those 3 dudes kind of do that 815 Union thing, and they've just got like a super like wholesome rad scene. And just to like go out there without any idea of what I was going to, and then like meet 3 awesome dudes that like are fostering an awesome scene, it's fucking magical to me. And then they like, you know, the typical BMX thing, they're like, yeah dude, like you can stay at my house. And then like stayed at his house, stayed at Raphael's house, and went and rode street at this little campus they got out, like that he basically lives on. And that was, you know, it's just that's a memory I will hold with me for a long time. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the answer, is like all of the like the places that I get to go, and like the people I get to meet, which I know is like a super cliche thing, but like it's just really cool to like know that every weekend I'm gonna get myself into something, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be rad. I can't think if there's any other ones. Like going out to Cornhucket was one of my favorite experiences ever, because like I've known about Cornhucket for a long time. I mean, they've been doing that thing for a long time.
9 years,
And,
I think Carl said.
Yeah. They've been doing that thing for a long time. And I've known about it for 5-6 years probably. And I always knew I wanted to go out there and like see it. But until this year, like 11 hours seemed like a long drive. And now when I think about an 11-hour drive, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I don't know what changed in me, but like when we were talking earlier about like me driving to Toronto, you say 8 hours, I'm like, dude, that's nothing. Like I don't even know. Something snapped in me where like, dude, I'll just drive. But so going out to Cornhucket was a trip, dude. So I used to drive an Audi A4, and it fucking blew up on me. That the 3rd episode of The Scene's Not Dead, like the original The Scene's Not Dead, I went to Milwaukee. Oh, this is about to be a really long story. All right. So I went up to Milwaukee, and when I originally decided to go up to Milwaukee, I was like, all right, we're going to hit Four Seasons, and then I wanted to hit like some other stuff that I didn't even end up like trying to hit. On my way up there, I texted Casey Smith, yeah, dude, sick. And I was like, hey, dude, I know you're from that area. Is there anybody I should hit up? And he was like, hit up Tyler Frenzel. He's a good friend of mine. You know, he might be having a session. So this was like before I had ever met Tyler Frenzel. I just texted him I messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, hey, man, me and my buddy are coming up your way. Casey Smith told me to get a hold of you. And he was like, yeah, we're having a session at Asylum that Saturday for a buddy of mine's birthday. If you want to come through, that's cool. Come through. And I was like, well, no, I want to ride Four Seasons on Saturday. So I kind of like ignored it. And then, so we left on that Friday night, and on the way Friday, that Audi that I was talking about, like the heat just like quit working. Like it was going out for a long time, and it just stopped, dude. And this was like the coldest weekend of the year. It was like -3 degrees outside. So I was like, dude, we're going to freeze to death if we don't like do something. So I got a good buddy in Crown Point. His name's John Vogel. And we called him, and we were like, dude, we're coming to Crown Point. We're going to stay the night. And then in the morning, we'll figure out where we're going to go ride. So we went to John's house that night and got like super fucking trashed, as you do. And woke up in the morning, and John was like, dude, you know, I haven't rode in a long time, but I want to go ride with you guys. So like, we'll take my car up wherever. And I texted Tyler Frenzel, and I was like, yeah, dude, we're going to Asylum. Like, I don't know whose birthday this is. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, we'll come ride. It's whatever. So we show up at Asylum for the morning session and like ride all day. And that like birthday kind of just like session they were going to have wasn't until the afternoon session. And so we ride the whole morning session. We're like, yeah, this park's cool or whatever. And then like dudes start showing up for the afternoon session, and like Joey Bagz shows up, and Nick Harkins shows up, and me and my buddy Michael. Michael knew those two better than I did, but I like knew them from just being around in the Midwest. So say what's up to them. And then Tyler shows up, and I'm like, hey man, you know, I'm Noah. I'm the guy Casey was telling you about or whatever. And he's like, yeah, Jamie's going to be here in a minute. It's his birthday session, you know? And I was like, Jamie who? Like, who are you talking about? And he's like, oh yeah, it's Jamie Spritzer's birthday today. I was like, holy shit, wait a fucking second. So I accidentally came to Jamie Spritzer's birthday session. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, Jamie Spritzer has been like my favorite fucking rider since I was like knee high. That was fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
Like, accidentally went to Jamie Spritzer's birthday session. And then to wrap that up real quick, so rode Jamie Spritzer's birthday session, which was literally probably like, that's probably my favorite clip I've ever seen, like that I've ever filmed. He did like the one-footed tire tap, came up, jumped this, like the thing he jumps, I can't even explain it to you, but it should not be jumped the way he's jumping it. So he jumps into this like mini that's not like a mini, it's just a straight U bowl. Like it's just a U.
Oh my God.
And then foofs that back rail foof he does, like that, none of that should be possible, but he did it like in front of me. And like the thing about Jamie Spritzer that I learned there is that you don't ask him to do something again. And like, thankfully I didn't do it, but there was another guy filming there, and Jamie did a trick, and this guy was holding like his DSLR camera. He's like, hey Jamie, will you do that again? And he was like, fuck you. If you didn't film it the first time, then you don't get to film it. And I was like, all right, so if Jamie rides, I'm going to film it. So, like, I'm not fucking missing it.
That's incredible.
And so, yeah, that was amazing. And then we went to Four Seasons the day after that, drove back down to John's house. And the plan was to fix my Audi that night and then leave I think we were trying to fix it and leave that night. I put a new thermostat in it, went to crank it, and the timing chain snapped, and that's when my Audi died.
Oh.
And it stayed in Crown Point for 3 months until I got it towed back here. Well, I towed it back here with a fucking U-Haul. And So the Audi died. And in between the time the Audi died and I got the car I'm driving now, I was driving my work van around. And I knew Cornhucket was coming up. So I was like, dude, I have to get something to take to Cornhucket. Like, my van's not going to make it 11 hours, and I can't beat up my work van like this. So I was looking for a car. I kept trying to buy another Audi because I'm a moron. And eventually I hit up Carl Pointer, because Carl Pointer has had an HHR for like as long as I can remember. And I remember when I was like 17 or 18, I was looking for a car, and I was like, hey man, how much do you want for this HHR? And he's like, I don't know, but I'd sell it. So I hit him up, remembering that conversation we had from 4 years ago. I was like, hey man, like, I want to buy your HHR. And he was like, yeah. And this is the Wednesday before Cornhucket. I'm telling him I want to buy his HHR. So I texted him Wednesday, told him I wanted to buy the HHR. I went to go buy it Thursday, drove it home. Friday, I have to leave for Cornhucket. So I take the HHR to the DMV at 5 o'clock Friday night, leave the DMV Friday with a paper plate on the HHR for Cornhucket. Like, I have, this is the first time I'm driving this car registered, is on an 11-hour trip to somebody's house who I've never fucking met. And like, I had to stop and get the oil changed in Indy on the way, because it was gonna fucking blow up if I didn't. And I picked up Isaiah Potter on the way there. And the cool thing about that is my girlfriend went with me. So that's me, Bree, my girlfriend, and Isaiah in this HHR. It's an HHR panel van, so it only has 2 seats. So Isaiah's in the back with a weekend's worth of gear, like laying down coffin style in this HHR.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
On an 11-hour trip in a car that I've only driven 15 miles. It was amazing. Car held up great. Got down there. We fucking kicked ass on the way down there. Made it down in like 10 and a half hours, and only accidentally fell asleep one time. And the amazing thing about Cornhucket is that, like, when you pull in the middle of the night like that, like out there, like where they live in Nebraska, it's Unidia, Nebraska, and there is fucking nothing out there. Like, nothing, dude. They've got a gas station like a mile away from like the Nowhere compound, that it's a gas station, it's a thrift store, and it's a restaurant. Like, so you can go there, buy gas and breakfast and
a new outfit.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. Pull in to, like, you pull off, I think it's like 28. You pull off State Road 28 or 18 or whatever the hell it is, onto this like shitty gravel road in between 2 like cornfields, and you drive back like a mile, and then there's just like this lane, like this country lane with like a cardboard sign that says like Cornhucket, and like it's the middle of the night, so you just pull in and there's no real like direction. You just like see a bunch of cars over there, and you're like, oh, I guess that's where I'm supposed to be. And you like pull up and set up your tent and you sleep, and you wake up in the morning and like Carl's walking around holding coffee, and he's like, hey dude, how's it going? I'm like, dude, I've never met you. I just drove 11 hours in a car I've owned for a day, and like, I'm just here. It's the most amazing thing in the world. And like,
it's the most BMX thing in the world.
Yeah, BMX put me in that position, and it's just like, in that moment, like as soon as he said hey and like just smiled, I was just like, dude, this is the most unreal shit. Like, to any like average person, like to be in that situation, they would have to like, they'd lose their fucking minds, And
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's just whenever like you wake up at Cornhucket that first time, and everybody's like, waking up from dude, the sleep is awful. But like, you wake up and you're just like, dude, this is like home. Like, this is the spot. And it's magical out there, dude. It's like Mason White said, dude, like, that is BMX Mecca. Like, it is the spot. Like,
absolutely.
It is a religious experience. And I've had a few of those over the past year doing this, and I'm very grateful for it. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up, and that's what I'm grateful for, dude. Just BMX and the scene not being dead. So
I love it, dude. That
very
is wicked.
very long-winded answer to that question, but yeah.
Oh man, that's so sick. But yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to ask before we let you go here. So first of all, we've talked about him quite a bit already tonight. How long have you known fellow BMX podcaster Casey Smith? That dude seems rad.
Dude, he rips. He's a rad dude. He is really good at Dave Mirra's freestyle BMX too. He can't fufanu, so minus points there. But I met Casey Smith at Transferland. Well, maybe like a year and a half ago. It was before I started. It's before I did. Before I even did This Is BMX, I'm pretty sure. So Transferland was a backyard ramp owned by a good friend of mine, Andrew Chanley, in Greenfield, Indiana. And I found out about that because I have a really good friend that I rode with in Newcastle a lot named he's Corbin LaCroix. And he was working with me for a while, and we would go out and ride every day after work. We would ride to work together, and then like our shop is in Muncie, like our wood shop. It's just a garage that we rent. But we would get back to the garage, and it's downtown, so we would just like get our bikes and ride from the garage and go ride around town every day after work. It's one of the best time periods of my life as far as just like, you know, just having fun, just like being a BMX kid. And he quit working with me and started working on trees. And one day he was in Greenfield working on a tree, like cutting limbs down, and sees ramps in a backyard, like from this tree that he's cutting down. And he's like, dude, fuck this. Like, I got to go figure out what that's all about. So he like cold call knocks on the door and is just like, you've got ramps in your backyard. And Andrew was like, yeah, let's ride. So like, Corbin finds these ramps just randomly from being in a tree, and then like I'm riding with Corbin every day, so Corbin's like, hey, come ride these ramps. So that's how I met Chanley. And then Chanley knew Andrew somehow. They're both in the service. Andrew was airborne. I don't know if he is still in. He cut his finger off building those ramps, actually.
Oh my God.
He's only got the three. I got a good story about that too. He's only got the three fingers on this hand. And Casey is in the Navy. So thank both of them for their service. But that's how I met Casey, was just being at those ramps. And yeah, so not very long, but the time that I've known him, he's always been doing shit. Like, that's the thing that always blew my mind about Casey Smith is like, I met him and I was like, this dude's got something going on. And Casey Smith's got like, Casey's got videos on like Haro's YouTube channel, dude. Like, Casey's been the fuck around. We were at Swamp Fest and the Fast and Loose guys got their Nora Cup, right? So I'm standing off to the left side of the stage. It's me, Casey Smith, and like, we're just drinking beers, talking. And they win their Nora Cup. And they're coming off the stage, the five of them. They're holding their Nora Cup. And Jason Watts is walking straight towards us, like right past us. And then he's like, oi, Casey, how's it going, mate? And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, he just won a Nora Cup, and he recognized you. Like, that fucking blew my mind. Like, it just, and that happens all the time with Casey. Like, I don't know, dude. He's just been the fuck around.
Dude,
yeah, Casey.
Gotta say, that's probably the best Jason Watts impression I've ever fucking heard. That was so good.
I have an obsession with like Australian culture. There's this animated series on YouTube called The Big Lez Show.
Oh my fucking God, dude.
Yeah.
I am like an original watcher of The Big Lez Show.
Yep.
It is so good.
Yeah. That's what's up, dude.
Yeah, dude, that shit is incredible. What I love about that, and this actually inspired my DVD Space Goats, is that everything was made in fucking PNG files on
Yeah.
MS Paint. I'm like, what the fuck? And like, it's good. It's really good.
Dude, that was a good moment right there for sure.
Oh,
Dude, Big Lez
man.
Show, Big Lez Show, dude. Like that got me through some shit, you know. Like that show means a lot to me. I love that show.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, dude, I just love Australian accents because of that, basically.
That is so funny. Holy fuck, man. That is rad.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Alrighty. Well, now's the time that we get towards the listener questions. So these are all questions sent in from the listeners through Instagram. So the first one actually comes in from Mr. Casey Smith saying, who's the best rider in Indiana?
I fucking knew this was going to come up. And I think about this. I think about this every day of my life, dude. And so one of the things that like the Scene's Not Dead has kind of made me think about is just like the quality of underground riders. And there's almost levels to like what being an underground rider is. And I think my favorite like genre of underground rider is like the guys that like, you know, that are just kind of like your pals, but they live in like your surrounding area. Maybe not in like your hometown, but like, you know, 45 minutes to an hour away, and you'll see them at events or jams or whatever. And like every time they're at a session, like you just know they're going to fucking kill it. Just like the dudes, you know? And like doing the Scene's Not Dead, I've got to see a lot of like those underground riders from my area. And every time I get done watching them ride, I just think about like, you know how many scenes there are around like North America. And for every like 2-mile radius, there is like another sect of riders, just like the ones I'm witnessing now, you know? And like, I want to see them all, you know? So I don't know. I just love like going and seeing those dudes ride. Like it means a lot to me. So I can't pick one. I'm going to list off like a shit ton of them.
Hell yeah.
So Austin Andrews from Fort Wayne, Indiana is a fucking mind melter, dude. He kills it. And Fort Wayne's got a good scene going on right now with Brian Luter and CD. And I mean, like the new school crew and Wilbert, all those dudes are rad dudes and I love them. And Austin shreds. He just downright shreds. Anthony Cannon right now is on a fucking tear, dude. He can kill it. He just kills it, dude. Best rider in Indiana. Brett Benasewicz is still killing it, but definitely was the best rider of all time and is from Indiana. If he had not had his accident, BMX would not look the same. Because he was doing tricks in 2010, 2011 that people are doing now. Like he was the best, hands down. Like I don't care if people want to try and argue like, oh, well, Scotty did the front flip tail whip first. Like, no, dude, Brett was younger and like the amount of room he had to progress, like at his age, there is no doubt in my mind that like he was the best and he was a robot and he was dialed. And I don't even like that style of riding, you know? But that's the difference between like Brett and like your average resi park rider is that like Brett could do the fucking front flip tail whips and the fucking front tuck bars and the cash rolls, but like he would also like session a fucking curb with you. Like Brett did not care. And he's still that way. Even now, I love riding with Brett, and he is definitely one of the best riders from Indiana of all time. Glenn Sawyer's ride for Glenn, rest in peace. Dude's got a Nora Cup, obviously. He's one of the best riders.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's from Indiana. Pretty sure he's from South Bend. I could be wrong. But Glenn. the Streebies. I mean, Indiana is the home of the first ever backflip tail whip. Should probably mention more new school names, but Anthony, Cannon, Austin, Andrews. There's so many, dude.
Who is that kid that absolutely kills front brakes? He's got a red bike. I think his name is Trevor.
Trevor Watching. He's from Ohio.
That's what I thought. I was going to say, dude, all those Ohio dudes are like the weirdest fucking riders ever, but they all kill it. I was going to say it's close to Indiana, but dude, that guy, probably one of the best in Ohio. Like,
two of my favorite riders, period, hands down, Trevor Watchman, Jonathan Willey. They both have very similar styles. I would say, like, Trevor rides more like the way I imagine myself riding, like super kind of lip tech, but can ride anything. Just kind of like tech gnarly. And Jonathan, dude, there's no way to describe their riding. Like, they could just do whatever the fuck they want. But those two are definitely like my two favorite. I think they should be on fucking posters and billboards and win in the Olympics. But you know, people would rather see double tail whips, but that's fun.
Dude, it's pretty wild when Brian Vowell says that you're the only other dude that could probably do the 360 to hang 180 out over a spine. Like, I think those two are the two. I think Jonathan Willey, Brian Vowell, or fucking Brian Vowell. He already did it. Trevor Watching for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Nathan Powell, he might be able to get on that. Nathan Powell's he's another Ohio dude that kills it.
Yeah, Brian was saying it's got to happen with fronties though. Like, there's no way that it's going to get done without front brakes, which I kind of believe. Like,
I agree. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, dude. Those are my two submissions for best rider in Indiana. For sure. I could just talk about great riders from Indiana forever though. Jacob Marks, dude, kills it. I got to hang out with him the other day. The Marks brothers, Jacob Marks and White Snake, fucking legends, and they both kill it. And Jacob Marks was telling me he hadn't touched a bike in like, I don't even know how many years. And he was at a session last weekend and just destroyed it, dude.
Dude, that is wild.
So to make Casey happy, I don't want to forget anybody, dude. I'm gonna say Austin Andrews. He's my favorite right now.
That's wicked, man.
And he's a good dude. Yeah, he's the best.
Fuck yeah. Next one comes in from Cheesy Feet 15. How small? Sorry, continue.
I'm sorry. That's the guy that I took to the Capital Lou Jam.
That's wicked.
That's the guy. Yep, that's Jacob Cooper.
That's sick. Yeah, so he sends in, how small can you make your face?
No. Absolutely not.
I had a hard time understanding what this was. Oh, fuck.
I'm not sure, but I'm not going to try.
Oh, dude. The name Cheesy Feet is hilarious, beautiful. By the way.
It's amazing, dude. Yeah, he's a genius.
So good. This one comes in from Daddy Longshins. Why do you like fufanus so much?
Dude, Daddy Longshins is the homie, and he's a shredder and underground OG. Indiana underground OG, dude. That guy does not fuck around. He's getting up there in age. I don't want to call you old Daddy Longshins, Jordan, but he's getting up there, and the dude fucking kills it on a 22-inch, just stupid smooth. Why do I like fufanus so much? Because I'm Bako as fuck, dude. I grew up watching that shit, and that's all I give a fuck about is riding sub boxes. Honestly, I just want to be Dave Frymouth. I really just want to be Dave Frymouth. So.
Don't we all want to be Dave Frymouth?
Dave Frymouth and Jamie Spritzer. The reason I am the way I am.
Love it, man. That is wicked. I think it's Frymouth who used to do the it's like a whip, but almost like a foot jam whip with the front brakes and like no feet at all, where you're basically just balancing. I'm like, that is something that will never be replicated, man. Like, it's so insane. I know there's a few people that can do it, but like, I don't know how many people could do that nowadays. It's so fucking wild.
Dudes do them, and they do like the like down jam whips, like with the front brakes balancing, and then catch it with their top foot and do the can. They catch top foot on the seat and do the can over, and then hop back in. Dude, like front brake tricks are just nuts to me. But
dude, I threw on front brakes like 2 years ago, and I feel like such an idiot because I still suck at doing like the most basic front brake moves, but it's really sick to have them. I will say that. I've got a trick that I'm going to go and get at some point next year, which involves front brakes and bash guard, which I'm very excited about.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
I've been wanting to put the front brakes on, dude, because I do a lot of like front brake tricks, foot jam style, like Canadians, and I started doing Mexicans earlier, which is I like to call them front fanoofs, but like if you've got the quarter pipe and here's a fufanoof, that's a front fanoof, and then you come in like this way. So it's like foot jam fakie, but to 180, and like whiplashes and stuff. But like I always thought, like if I just put front brakes on, then like it should get easier, right? But I don't know. Like if you learn them foot jam, like they'd definitely be cooler with front brakes, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a poser. I need to get some front brakes for sure. But
do it up, man. I think the 2022 is going to be the year of front brakes. I already have so many people around Kitchener riding front brakes, which is sick.
Fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And then the last question coming in from a listener. This one comes in from, the best BMX YouTube channel ever, at Brant Moore. And he just has two simple words and a question mark for you. Hell yeah? Question mark?
Hell yeah. Goddamn right. Hell yeah. Nah, that makes me so happy. I got to make shirts that just say hell yeah.
Oh, man. So good. Thanks for sending that in, Brant. And dude, thank you for coming on. I got one last question for you. And
absolutely.
I'm really just curious, along with everybody else listening, what are your goals for The Scene's Not Dead for 2022?
Dude, I could tell you, I don't have any hard goals. I've got a lot of wishes and dreams. But the only real goal is to just keep doing it, just to like be able to be doing what I'm doing. Like, I'm so thankful to just like be able to do it, not even to mention like the fact that people care. And, that means the world to me. So, just keep it on, I guess. And, try and go somewhere. Just try and keep pushing it. It's a slow burn, like I said. Like it keeps steadily changing, and I feel like it's always for the better. So I'm just gonna keep doing that, and I got a lot of things in mind, but who knows where it'll go. So
hell yeah, man! I'm super excited for you, and I'll be there every single upload. So I definitely want to catch one of the live premieres. I like doing those on my channel. So the next one that you got coming up, I will definitely be there for that.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I've been really stoked on those. I think I've peaked out at like 14 people, but to me, like 14 people is a fucking group, dude.
14 people to like watch live at that same time is pretty good, dude.
That's fucking cool. Like I couldn't fit 14 people in my living room, if I wanted to come like have people over here and watch it. Like that's fucking amazing to me. So
dude, that's the mentality to have. That is absolutely the mentality to have, especially starting small. Dude, those numbers, like you got to think of it that way because it keeps you motivated and it keeps things super fun. Like, I don't know. It's definitely the same as having those people because those people exist. It's not a computer watching it, right? Those are actual people that clicked on your video that want to see what you're doing, right? You have a certain amount of people that said, hey, I'm going to subscribe to this because I want to see more of it.
Yeah, the subscriber count kind of blows my mind because and even to relate like the 14 like concurrent viewers, like I thought this thing was going to get 14 views max. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I would have been stoked at that because like in my mind, and I guess even to like a point right now, it's kind of a period piece. Like I just wanted something that could represent like what I saw in Midwest BMX at this period of time. So for it to, be in triple digits, and I think one of them's about to hit quadruple digits. It's like fucking, it's no Brant Moore 30K, but damn, it feels good either way, man.
Hell yeah, dude. I love it. That's super sick. I'm really excited for 2022 and everything that you're going to accomplish. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be there every step of the way watching all the content that you're putting out. And I'm definitely going to try and make my way down there at some point. I've been talking about going to the States for years, but I think next year is the time. I've got a lot of ideas and I would love to, come down and see what everybody's like there.
Hell yeah, man. Let me know. I'll give you a tour.
Fuck
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and vice versa. You're more than welcome to come up to Canada. And if you ever need a place to stay near Toronto, you always welcome here, man. Always.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Fuck yeah. Before we end this off, do you have anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
Dude, I tried to drop as many names as I could, and I feel like if I try and put names in this section, I'll forget too many to feel comfortable with. So I want to thank, first off, anybody that watches this. Thank you. I mean, especially to this point, thank you very much. Everybody, like if I've rode a bike with you or sat on the deck of a quarter pipe, or if you've any of it, dude. I thank you even to the people that like don't watch this or watch my channel and are just riding bikes. Like it all matters, and it all means a lot to me. So yeah, dude, there's too many thanks to give. I appreciate it all. Stuff means the world to me. So
absolutely, man. I love it. But yeah, I just wanted to thank you for coming on, and anybody that's listened this far or is watching at home, thank you for coming along on this awesome journey. Make sure you go and subscribe to Noah McBride, aka The Scene's Not Dead. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Hell yeah.